Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Tree Talks. We're going to go over Persona 5 The Royal. This is my first time playing a Persona game, period. So I'm going to have some really harsh fucking criticisms. I have two guests today. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
After you, Lou.
Oh, all right. It's your boy, Lou. We're gonna go with that, and that's all that's gonna be.
Yeah, that was not cringy at all, my guy.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm Hubbard. It's not my first time on a tree talk. I really need to get a handle for these.
All right. So how this is going to start is what are you guys' introductions to Persona? Because mine really is just this game.
So my introduction to Persona isn't from Persona. It's Shin Megami Tensei. The first SMT title I played was Nocturne, and I actually didn't know they were the same franchise until I played like Persona 3.
I did play the what was it? Digital
Oh,
Devil Saga.
Digital Devil Saga.
Yeah, yeah, I did play that. I didn't realize that these were all underneath the same banner until going back whenever I was
Well, not anymore.
informed.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, now they're all different now.
And then I saw the one on Switch too. Fucking
Scramble.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I gotta play
not
Scramble.
Scramble.
You're
Oh,
talking about the Fire Emblem
Labyrinth?
crossover?
Yeah, the one with like the pop idol characters.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's actually kind of
Oh,
lit too. I'm actually currently playing that.
yeah. I was about to say Lou bought that game.
Yeah, of course he would. That's something he's
Too
into.
weeby for me.
I
Yeah.
play all personas.
But
Have
it's,
you played PQ2 Labyrinth?
Actually, I was supposed to buy that.
Okay.
uh,
I have a
that's
DS just
Turn.
for it.
Return of the FemC.
cringy. So back to the point. Lou, if you're gonna enlighten us with any more of your wee bullshit, tell us how you got into Persona.
My first Persona game was Persona 5. So,
What?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, Persona
You're no
5.
better than he is.
Yeah, yeah, Persona 5, not Persona 5 Royal. Persona
Yeah.
5 was my first
Vanilla.
Persona game. I was pretty much put on by a friend. He was like, "Yeah, this is great. You'll love the music." And I was like, "All right, bet." It's actually turned out way better than that. And then I went back and played the other games, which also have great music. So
Yes.
that's fun.
Shoji Meguro is the composer and sound guy for most of the Persona titles, and dude knows his stuff.
Yeah, we can hear it in
Yeah.
the background currently, and it's some quality shit, if I may
Oh,
say
yeah.
myself. Some pure, probably gonna get demonetized the moment that you put the fucking video up.
Yeah.
Good shit. That doesn't matter. I'm not big enough.
I figured
yet.
you weren't worried about
Yeah.
monetization with.
I would say I think it's kind of low. for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
but
You got to get like something around. Oh God, a plane. That was a plane. I hope no one heard the plane.
I didn't hear the plane. You're
Good.
fine.
Good. So, yeah, as I was saying, this is my first Persona, and the only reason that I decided to play this was because two other fucking people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. So,
Yeah. Who did that to you?
I have no idea, man. That's crazy.
yeah, it's insane. The two people that are currently on the fucking chat that are we talking about Persona are the people that got me to play this game.
Doesn't sound like me.
Uh,
I don't think I did it that much.
so, I'm gonna break
my
this
favorite
down.
tracks.
Can you name the track?
Throw away your mask. I think.
I can actually answer this question right now. Let's see here. Show more. It is. Fuck.
I know it's
Oh.
the thing that plays when you're in the jazz club.
I think it is.
This is Haru's theme
It's
on the
either.
PlayStation.
I think it's Take Over.
No, that's.
That
Well,
is
I'm not
not
on Takeover.
That's not Takeover right now.
Then No More What Ifs. The instrument.
Oh yeah, it is No More What Ifs. Yeah.
That's would be where we're at then. No More What
Yep.
Ifs. And the next song is gonna be Ideal and the Real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
Speaking
Okay.
of, Lou, you got some trash themes from your plaque.
I mean, actually, I like the Justine and Caroline theme.
Other than that, because you got like Maruki and what Haru.
Yeah. I have Haru, Akechi, Maruki, Justine and Caroline,
Akechi is the best character in the
And
fucking
Kasumi.
game.
Yes, a man of culture.
Just so we're clear, before
All
we
right,
go any
we'll
further.
get to that.
No,
I have some things about him.
Akechi is
I got a lot of
hands
things.
down.
I got a
the
lot of
best
things to
character.
say about Akechi.
All right. Well, starting out, we're gonna work through the story bit by bit.
Oh no.
Yeah. We're not gonna do it in the way of just, oh man, we're gonna have fucking hundreds of hours of
I
content to
was
get
say,
through.
are you trying to turn this into a series?
No, this fucking video would never end. But I guess it depends on how far you guys are willing to go in depth with it. So if we start out, the protagonist is accused of a crime of really nothing, protecting a lady. And the person that put him away was someone a lot bigger than him, right?
Pause.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about body wise, or are you talking about just head figure?
Head figure,
We know
politically.
exactly what
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he does get pretty built later on in the game, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That's why. I asked.
yeah. And the game starts you off in an interrogation scene, and it continues to go back to this interrogation scene. The one thing that I had an issue with damn near immediately is how goofy the fucking scenario was. And it didn't click for me that it was supposed to be that goofy of a fucking scenario, and that they were this comically evil until like halfway through playing this game. That's just the world that Persona lives in, is that these adults are so extremely awful
Yeah.
that
So
they'll just
in
beat
the-
a kid.
In the Shin Megami Tensei series, take the most logical route for someone to react, and then push it to its most logical extreme, and that's what you'll have adults doing.
Yeah.
But it can go either way. You'll have like either paragons are good or paragons are complete evil.
They were just like, hey, let's shoot him up with some drugs and then kick him in the stomach.
Yeah, let's load this kid up on Valium and then beat him up on camera and tell him, hey, that ain't gonna help you.
And that's the one thing that you guys kept telling me was, this game has good writing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, if this is the way we're going to fucking go in our first, 3 hours, I'm sitting here playing this game, I'm like, this is so not going to work for me. And it isn't until, I realized that this is just the game. This is the writing that they're going to present. And they do well with this later on as we move forward. But
So there's great writing in this series, and then there's subpar writing in this series. But I get what you're saying. The narrative device they use to tell the story isn't my favorite. Like, let's start the story in the smack dab of the middle, and then we'll backtrack to see how we
media
got there.
res. Yeah, that bullshit was
Yeah,
okay.
I hate that.
Let's keep going back to the interrogation room. Why not?
Yeah.
Every time that you get a confidant, and who was supplying you with weapons, and
Who is supplying you with weapons?
Who gave
must
you that
have
mess?
a master tactician.
No,
These
that-
are very good, educated guesses you're giving me, as prosecutor.
that shit was ridiculous. The shogi player, yeah. How did you learn to
God.
become so well trained on the battlefield?
How did you evade the police for this long? You must have had a master tactician teach you.
Oh
No,
God.
we did
Anyways,
play shogi. It was fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that part's kind of cringy, but I understand the need for it narratively
then
because it still has to reference back to this whole, oh, this has actually already occurred, and now you need to see how we got to this point.
Yeah, and because of a way Say's character is presented, she's very thorough. So it's not like we can skip over anything, anyways, because Sai wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, one of my biggest contentions with the game is Sai is not romanceable.
That is an issue.
All right, fucking really. This is the route we have to start out with. We are not even 20 minutes in, and we've already gotten to waifus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you say Persona, people think of two things: summoning devils and dating girls.
Yeah.
Oh, and killing God.
Yeah,
and
okay,
you
yeah,
gotta fight
that
a
happens twice.
It happens in every Persona title.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So it's a lot more. It's a big part of the plot in all the Shin Megami Tensei series. Like they have this whole thing where he isn't even called Yaldabaoth. There's like this concept of a god of control known as Yahweh, and it's usually stylized as YWHA, I think, or something like that. But that
Yeah.
pops up in every Shin Megami Tensei game, and like Satan and Lucifer are always big parts of those stories, because at the end of the day, it always comes down to: would you rather have an oppressive order that robs you of all creativity and free thinking, or would you rather have chaos, the freedom of choices, and all their consequences?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Even though, once we get there, Maruki,
Maruki.
yeah, was
He's a nice little shade of gray in this that I like, that hasn't been
he
presented.
was
I want to save him for last because
Yeah.
that was pretty. Hold on.
Ooh,
okay.
I love
So
Maruki.
moving forward, then, since we can just hang out in one little middle zone on Persona forever if we don't push this forward,
Yes.
the protagonist gets sent away from his hometown for this crime that he committed, and he gets taken in by Best Dad into Youngin.
No.
Yes. Don't
Not
you
Best
argue with
Dad.
me. I heard about the Persona 4 dad, and
Have you played Persona 4?
I haven't, but he's not best. Sojiro is best.
I do like Sojiro more.
Opinion is trash, but I do like the Sojiro better. But
Sojiro
We'll
is
get to it.
pure.
Sojiro is a realistic representation of someone put in that situation.
He was like, yeah, I don't really fuck with you like that, but hey, just listen. You follow the rules, you're good.
Hey, you criminal! I'm giving you a roof over your head, so don't cause me any trouble.
Yeah, he is, yet again, he was a bit comically fucking rude to the
Yo, that voice
protagonist.
actor was great.
Because
Even though you have a criminal record. I was like, oh man.
yeah, that whole first the first beginning hours were like the biggest turn away from me, because I'm like, okay, so we go in and my first days of school and I meet this really loud mouth, clearly his hair is dyed blonde because I'm in Japan, kid, and he's talking shit to the coach. We don't even know who Kamishita is at this point, but you just see him pull up and
Come shitta.
and gets into the car with him, and
Speaking of blonde people.
yeah,
Blonde people everywhere.
we don't know who Anne is at this point either. It's just we watched this lady get into Kamishita's car, and
Wait, hold on. They had a stare down for a quick minute now.
the
They look at each
cut
other.
scene implies that there's something wrong with this, and you can clearly tell, even though he offers Ryuji the same ride. But
Not Ryuji.
No, not Ryuji, Joker.
I thought the cut.
Protagonist.
Oh yeah, you're right.
My
Ryuji
main
shows up
problem
afterwards.
with that cutscene is fucking Kamoshida's chin is a perfect rectangle.
I don't like his hair. That's just me.
I don't like his chin.
Yeah, I got flashbacks to Catherine the moment I saw Kamishita.
So yeah, there are a lot of there's a lot of Catherine Easter eggs in Persona 5.
Oh yeah.
So moving forward, then they accidentally fucking end up in a palace, the part of the metaverse, and that's whenever they first enter into Kamishita's palace, which is the school. And yet again, this is another part where I go, okay, this is kind of dumb, because I clearly see where they're going with this. Oh, he thinks he's king of the castle, bullshit like that. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Whenever you fight Kamishita, and at the end of actually defeating him in the cutscene, Kamishita's whole demeanor changing inside of that cutscene, and how he basically now wants to die because of what he did. That was good. I enjoyed that. That's what
Contrast.
that propelled me on to go, okay, we need to see what's next, because at first I'm like, okay, this is everybody's going to be super super fucking evil the entire time. I'm not going to have any sort of middle ground whatsoever. And that's what I was worried about, is that I'm gonna go through this game and immediately it's just gonna be, oh, I know who's evil, and there's nothing that's gonna be any different to that. And that's what I like about use case arc with Madarame.
Mhm.
Yeah, is that even though Madarame is a complete asshole, he still cared for Yusuke in a weird way.
In a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I ended up liking about the game a lot. Like, you start off with Kamoshida, like, you start off with someone who has like probably the most relatable to the mass majority. So everyone has been around someone who or even heard of someone who takes advantage of their position and uses it for their own personal gain. And that would be like the most common you would see that in a high school setting is, oh, there's a teacher abusing their power to harass or even sexually harass students. And you can go in there and try and absolve that as a Phantom Thieves because you're sitting there, you know, the police won't help, teachers won't help, parents won't help because they're all in on it. So then you go out there and enact your own justice on that, and it's a lot of wish fulfillment to a degree.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. And with Madarame, he isn't overtly evil. He just looks like a nice little artist peddling his wares, and he has a nice little successful art gallery going on. But then as you dig deeper and you get to know the story more, you see that seedy underbelly of the people that he's actually burned and interacted with, and you can go in there and try and fix that as well.
How none of the paintings belong to him.
Yeah.
All his pupils, he abuses every single one of them.
Yeah. The whole
Yusuke is the only
game
one who
is
stuck
very-
around.
It's I another thing to note as we push forward into the Kamoshida arc is I enjoyed how everyone in this game got their persona except for Haru. But like,
Yeah, Haru's probably the worst
Yeah.
Persona Awakening.
I don't like Haru's and I don't like Kasumi's, but yes,
you don't
Yeah,
like
I don't like Kasumi's feels rushed as
It-
hell.
yeah, but
exactly.
like
That's my only
it's
problem
sti-
with it.
like you
I
get
wish we
two
had more
versions of
interaction
it.
with Kasumi first.
Yeah.
There is two versions of it actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The second version's better, but
Yes.
yeah, true. I haven't got that one yet. I just got the bad one on my first playthrough. I'm still working on my second one.
Oh, how sad.
I didn't get a guide. I just used my knowledge from Vanilla P5, and she's not in any of that.
The first person I worked on was Kasumi and Maruki. Because
Oh yeah, totally, because they were new, and I wanted to make sure I maxed them out. And I was super shook when her first confidant was only 5 levels. I'm like, well, that's different.
I was like, well, okay.
I don't have to hang out with you anymore.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I can't romance you either. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, thank God for the 3rd semester.
Yes.
Kasumi, yeah, that's totally her name.
Shut up.
Shut up, we're not there yet.
So further on, they go into the palace. They go to school. It turns out that they get into this little kerfuffle after finding out that Kamoshida is a complete asshole and
Sexually harassing and physically abusing students.
yeah, he's beating the shit out of people and he's trying to take advantage of On. And On then
Well, all female students, technically.
yeah.
Yeah, but mostly on.
Yeah.
Mostly on, yes.
She
His
didn't
aunt-
get
On was his queen.
that and what was On's friend fucking
Shiho.
Yeah, Shido, after she tried to
Shido.
kill herself.
Shido is a completely different.
That's a different guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you're correct. So, as they move forward into going into his palace, and then On eventually gets dragged into it. I early On's awakening was probably my favorite one at that time because it
I
was
think
just like,
An's is my favorite up until Makoto and Futaba.
I mean, Akechi's second awakening.
Akechi's second
Akechi's-
awakening is probably the best fucking.
I was Akechi's is the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know we were counting second awakenings.
Oh, we're counting Akechi every time I can account.
yeah.
for
I think
Akechi.
both his awakenings were nice. Robin Hood and Loki.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't like Robin Hood too much, but
All right.
Yeah, I kind of hate the aesthetic of Robin Hood.
yeah, I like the idea of Robin Hood.
I actually hate what his third awakening looks like, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. But Loki is.
Back to my favorite song.
Okay.
Okay.
So after On awakens, after seeing Kamashido basically taking advantage of her cognition form of her, it allows her to step up and fight with both Joker and Ryuji.
Yep.
We forgot to mention my
I was about to say, we
favorite.
completely skipped over Ryuji's awakening.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
yeah.
well, he gets up because he's sick of dealing with Kamashida's bullshit.
Yeah,
Basically.
basically.
And I forgot to mention Mona.
That's
Mona.
completely understandable.
Listen, Mona.
Mona's the worst character in Persona 5.
What?
Okay.
What?
Oh,
Excuse me,
no.
hold on. There is a Haru standing right next to you.
Yeah.
Haru's problem is just because she didn't have enough screen time.
She
Mona's
is completely
there for
ass.
Mona's there for the entire plot, and he's still a terrible character.
I hated Mona
gives you the
for
details.
half the game.
I
and
don't
then-
mind that, but he's a bad person.
And then
No.
Mona throws a complete bitch fit because Ryuji called him useless once.
Yes.
All right, so listen.
Yeah.
If the
Forever.
person keeps calling you useless back
He
to back
called
to back,
him useless once.
it was multiple
there was-
times.
No, it was once, and there was an offhand comment about how they didn't need him anymore after they got Futaba, and he fucked off. And he never truly apologized. He had to have a Ryuji apologize to him. We'll get into that. That's way later.
yeah, no, that is. But I do like Mona after a certain point in the game because I became like emotionally attached to the fucking cat.
That is your partner.
You're biased. You have cats.
I do. But I did become emotionally attached to Mona. I hated
Mona
Mona
is your partner in crime.
for
I
like
did too.
all of the game. Like all the way up to nearly the end, and then once certain events happened, I was like, Mona, I'll die for you.
Mona is a G.
I do agree now, but if you would have asked me that at like the 100-hour mark, I would have told you you're a fucking liar.
But now that we're done with hot takes, I got some more.
So
Back to the tutorial palace.
yeah, we get into there, and while we're not going on gameplay yet, that's another point of contention. We'll work our way back to that. So they continue through the palace, Mona, Ryuji, and On, and they eventually settle on the idea of sending him a calling card to awaken his treasure after they find it, because Mona explains this whole idea that if you steal the treasures, then you can change their cognition, and hopefully, because they were all working on theory at this point,
Yeah,
It
they
will-
won't die.
yeah, they won't die, and we can make them a better person, and maybe they'll admit to their sins.
Yeah.
And that
For
Oh,
those of you
gamble.
who don't know anything about Persona 5, in the metaverse, there's a cognitive realm where you have these palaces, which are the dungeons, and the rulers of those palaces have distorted desires, and the treasure that we're stealing is what caused those desires to distort in the first place, so that stealing their distorted desires will return them to an upstanding member of society, and they'll realize they're a piece of shit.
All those
Yeah,
words
because that's totally what happens.
I mean, that's what happens 8 out of 9 times.
No. They don't become better people just because of the treasures being gone. They go somewhere else.
I mean, because technically they do end up having to speak to them,
Yeah.
like every single one of them.
Yeah.
So send
Yeah.
them to go back to their body.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, go change yourself, fool.
yeah, go fix yourself, fool.
So they do cause the not the change of heart initially, but they send out the calling card, and they post it all over the school, and this is our first little inkling of fame for the Phantom Thieves.
The calling cards are important because desires don't have a physical form until they're threatened. So the physical, actual, real-world person has to realize that their desires are in danger for the treasure to manifest.
So Kamoshida sees all of this. We see Mishima starting to fall in love with the Phantom Thieves, and at that point, they go in to go steal the treasure.
The original fanboy with a PH.
Yeah.
The #1 fanboy.
fucking hate Mishima. You want to talk about the worst character in the game?
The second
Excuse-
worst character in
I
the
was gonna
game.
say there's still Oya and Chihaya.
Oya and Chihaya aren't that bad. They're just not very.
Oya
romantic.
has a story behind her at the very
Oya
least.
has a great story. Chihaya has a good story too.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
and
Oh, no, no,
Mishima is simp overlord that
Yeah,
wants you to
Mishima's
just help him get.
The simp.
no. You're right. Yeah, simp.
Oh.
The
Persona,
only-
Persona personified the word simp before it even became popular, and it's Mishima.
It is. The only thing Mishima brings to the table besides his confidant abilities
Experience.
is that he
Oh god, he has some of the best confidant ability.
I was gonna say it's straight experience.
Him and crap, I forgot her name. The Shogi girl.
Oh,
Hifumi.
Hifumi, yeah.
Hifumi.
Yeah, Hifumi. They have probably the best confidant
Yeah,
ability.
because I like to switch my party around.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll get to that. I have some words about that too.
Yeah. Because what's it? Mishima's best thing is that he introduces you to the teacher.
Kawakami.
Yeah.
I kind of hold that one. I give Ryuji more clout for that than Mishima. He was just kind of there tagging along.
Yeah, because Ryuji was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got this poster, man. This May poster. Let's fucking call her.
Yeah,
Ryuji
you're right.
had
Yeah.
the place. Ryuji had the poster. Ryuji had the plan. Mishima was just there.
Yeah. Didn't even
Yeah,
help out.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Mishima and Ryuji, just like if you leave them to their own devices throughout the
They're like
course
the
of the game,
epitome of that term. My last two brain cells, and they just kind of like make things happen based off of that.
them going to
rubbing
the
my last two
goddamn
brain cells
beach by
together.
themselves.
Oh God, I
Yeah.
never hung out with Mishima.
No,
and Ryuji.
no,
I was gonna say you could have hanged out with them. You just choose not to.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
You
Hifumi
hang
and
out with best
Kawakami
girl.
were there. Why would I hang out with them?
You hang out with Makoto, you fucking fool.
I'm gonna say he hanged out with Makoto. That's weird.
No, I hung out with Hifumi.
All
I
right,
was say I did. That's why I hung out.
we got to
with
push past this because it went back into waifus.
We'll, all things circle back to waifu wars.
All right, they defeat Kamoshida after him turning into a giant demon, and I guess at this point we can go over the fact that each of the palaces throughout the course of the game represent one of the 7 deadly sins. It's very overt.
Yes.
Like that's
Right.
another thing
Well,
that was
Except for Okamura and Kaneshiro, they were kind of interchangeable with what their sin was, in my opinion, and they ended up being the opposite of what I thought. Like I thought Okamura
Moments.
would be gluttony and Kaneshiro would be greed, because literally Kaneshiro is gluttony and Okamura is greed.
yeah.
yeah.
But anyway,
So as they steal the treasure and Kamoshida returns back to normal, what ends up happening is that Kamoshida starts breaking down in front of him, his cognition form, and On has this perfect chance to just kill Kamoshida.
In his life, do it now.
And this is the moment that made me go, yeah, I'll keep playing this game, is whenever On goes, nah, he needs to go and tell the world what he did for Shio. So, and I was like, all right, cool. And then we find out as they run away from the palace that Ryuji can finally run again, which catches him off guard. And that they learn more about how the cognition shapes around them. And
Well,
how
he
they can
fell,
do-
didn't he? Did he fall?
He does fall, but if he had fell in real life while doing that, the only reason he fell was
he
because
never ran again after Kamoshida broke his leg.
Yeah,
right.
He never even started training and conditioning again outside the confidant path.
and man, whenever he pulls those moves off in Shido's palace at the end of
Oh
it,
yeah,
Damn, we skipped the shit. We skipped again.
all the way to Shido's path.
there's so many connecting points. It's like fucking tendrils.
Yeah.
Eh,
Oh, speaking
that's
of,
also a reference, sir. Later on too.
already.
Maruki, yeah.
But so each of the palace rulers, once you fight their boss forms, they have their names plus one of the names of the 7 princes of hell that correlate to their sin. So Kamoshida's was his first name, and then the middle name would be Asmodeus, I think. That was the prince of Lust, and then
I can pull that up later in a bit.
yeah, I just can't remember what his first name was because fuck Kamoshida.
Yeah, fuck Kamoshida is Kamoshida. Um, so after they steal that, they go and they think that they have just done the best thing, which they have. They've stopped this monster of a man from taking advantage anymore in school. And then they just mind their business for a little bit. You get to learn about the characters just a wee bit more, and then out of fucking nowhere, that On's like, I feel like I'm being followed. And you go, what? And it's just like, yeah, I swear. And then you get a cutscene of Yusuke just walking his flamboyant ass right up to them.
Pretty boy walking up.
The best boy. Yusuke route win.
Oh my god, that's what that post was about.
Yeah, so one of my friends trolls me by asking Yusuke route win. Like, I don't want a Yusuke route. Fuck Yusuke. But it's infectious, so Yusuke route win.
So, Yusuke popping up, and everyone's just like, alright. And you know what? I have to commend Yusuke because he's the only character that, like, his ideals very, very, like, he doesn't budge.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
Even if he's wrong.
Like, he realizes, oh, I need to be a better person. But Yusuke, from the get-go, if they had just tossed him into the metaverse, I'm sure he would have just got his persona immediately. Because of just how sure of himself he is.
Ideals.
And
I don't know, because he had to have that truth of Madarame shattered in front of him.
Yeah.
He had to have that whole traumatizing experience.
Yeah. Well, if he had been tossed in and saw Madarame's cognition, he probably would have. So,
yeah.
Regardless of when in the story it happened. Because he was on the edge anyway. I was like,
yeah, he knew.
He was like, I believe in my teacher. My teacher does everything for me.
He put a roof over my head. He feed me. And that's all you need.
He let me paint naked girls in my room. It's fine.
Yeah, and if we move forward, yeah, that's what it comes down to is that they find out about Madarame being a
hack.
Yeah, a bit of a shill, and
not a real artist.
Yeah, and they have to find a way to open up his cognition because they find out about barriers and how your cognition can be blocked by real life issues, or not issues, but real life
obstacles.
Yes. That's the word.
So the one used in game is there's this room in Madarame's house that it has a lock on it all the time. So in Madarame's cognition is this door cannot be opened whatsoever because there's always a lock on it. And to get past that obstacle, the Phantom Thieves had to in the real world open that door so that his cognition would change to, oh shit, this door can be opened. And in the cognitive world, it represented itself as like impenetrable security, so they couldn't proceed past it.
So they further learn that thanks to Mona, you know, she's yeah we want to talk shit about Mona.
With no thumbs, you know, he still did it.
Yeah,
unlocked the door.
My boy opens up the door, and inside, whenever Yusuke sees the real life Sayori, which is a painting that Yusuke, the only reason that Yusuke really got into art was because this painting,
literally the font of his inspiration for art.
And he sees the real life, anything, and he's always thought it's been lost or it's been sold off or something of those lines. But Madarame has been making copies of this same painting and selling them off to collectors for the past however long.
15 years? How old is Yusuke?
Yeah, since he was a baby.
Isn't he a third year? No, he's a second year too.
He's a second year.
So he's about 17
years. 16, 17.
Yeah. And so he is like, what's going on? And then that leads them into the cognitive world. Then they find out that, hey, Yusuke, there's a painting of you here. This is how he views you. You are just nothing but a display on the wall that he can just
his property,
use.
his tool to use for his own ends.
And whenever it sets him off, and we get probably another one of my more favorite.
One of the most stylish awakenings.
Yeah.
Goemon.
I saw a stupid Twitter post, right?
Yeah.
Not to go on a tangent, but this is a tangent. Who am I?
This whole video is tangents.
Yeah, that's just it's a tree talk. You got to branch out.
He has
Oh
a
my
bunch of different
God.
branches. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yggdrasil ass.
The way that this works is that I was on Twitter and he's like, I can't believe Yusuke stood up for lesbians, and the guy goes,
Wait, what?
yeah, we're getting there, and Persona fans are the fucking worst, I swear to God. And the guy goes, he never said that, and he says Goemon, and in Japanese that means I love lesbians. And I was just like, the fuck? What? You know that's not what that means.
It's a real person.
Yeah,
So,
That's the name of a person.
it's
I guess we should preface that. So all of the main cast personas are legendary tricksters from across actual history or fictional literature. So the protagonists are Arsene, like Arsene
Arsene.
Lupin, and Makoto's is Carmen from the play, and not Yusuke's, Ryuji's is Captain William Kidd or Captain Kidd.
yeah.
So they're all popular thieves and tricksters who changed the course of history. And Ishikawa Goemon is a famous thief from, I think, the Meiji area.
Yeah,
Meiji.
they talk about it within the game. If you pay attention to the school bit, they talk about how he would
Yeah,
be
they
stealing
do.
and then they cut off his head.
Yeah, he was actually a Japanese Robin Hood. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor.
Yeah.
No, they boiled him in oil.
Oh, yeah, no. They cut off the heads of, I don't fucking know, the people whenever they were playing. Something about shogi.
Yeah, I think that's like fucking second semester stuff. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to remember all the fucking school. That's
Yeah.
why they give you the middle
the
button
questions.
on the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
You go,
So you can
That
just
shit
use
don't
a
work
network.
for exams, though.
yeah, no, it doesn't work for the exams. That's why you pull out your phone and you go,
You Google it.
No.
oh yeah, you're right. That's exactly what that answer is. Boop, boop, boop. And then you max out your
Yeah. So I did do it for the Japanese literature and history question. Because how the fuck am I going to know that? I'm not that big. Of a
They,
weenie.
yeah, they didn't teach you that in the first place.
Yeah.
All right.
Tangent over.
Yeah. So we were in Madarame's castle at this point, past palace, his
It's a museum,
museum. Yusuke had just awakened, and I keep trying to transition into
He did his
gameplay
best JoJo
because
pose.
Yes, he did. He did his best JoJo pose.
yes, Yusuke. If he didn't have that stupid ass tail, I would say he has the best outfit.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna lie.
Unfortunately, he's a fucking furry.
Yeah. Fucking
Nothing against
Anari.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
Nothing against furries. I love Sonic Fox. He's one of my favorite members.
Fucking Anari.
No.
And so they keep pushing forward into the palace. You get to see a bunch of more Madarame's cognition, and you go through like a weird what's that painting called where you see the stairs and they go up into different directions. It's like a
Endless stairway.
no,
yeah.
it's got a specific name, this sort of painting.
I don't know.
It was a painter in the 90s. He did a lot of weird gothic art.
Van Gogh?
No, 90s, not
Oh,
like
90s.
90s, not 1900s. 90s, like pretty recently that painting was made. 80s, 90s.
Ah, crap. My art teacher would shoot me in the face because I can't remember this.
But anyways,
And I know because he did the paintings with like the different color gradients of like the Campbell soup cans.
yep, and
Like-
he it's the same guy. And he would I liked that reference within the thing, and you could see as you entered through the areas, it was playing on that same perception. You could see it a lot in TV shows whenever, like the mid-2000s, they would play on that idea, even though... like-
Andy Warhol.
Yes! There we go.
I've redeemed
Is that
myself
his-
in the eyes of my
is
art
that him?
teacher. I know he painted I don't know if he did the stairs, but
Andy
the art
Warhol.
style you're looking for is from Andy Warhol because he painted Marilyn Monroe as well.
That he
Relativity is the name of the staircase, I believe.
did. Relativity pain.
And the artist is MC Escher. Escher.
Oh,
Escher?
MC Escher.
Yes, this is him. And all of his paintings.
I
1953.
forgot what that name of that style.
I was so ignorant. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I
I
wish
would say it's not in the 90s though.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck you.
I can't remember who it was, but he painted a lot of gothic paintings from the 80s through like the early 2000s. Alright, that yet again tangent. Stopping right now before I go and Google who this person is, and we have to talk about art for 10 minutes.
Madarame's Palace.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect palace to talk about it on.
Yeah. Yes, it is. But we got we got 7 more palaces to get through.
Technically, there's 10 palaces.
Fuck. Moving forward, they finally see the area of Kamoshida. No, oh wow, here we go. I'm already starting.
Madarame.
Yeah, Madarame's center palace, and it has him actually guarding it. And I think this is one of the few times that they actually show their Phantom Thieves by actually sneaking up over
Yeah.
and having to
So,
have Mona
Madarame's
go down.
palace is one of my favorites because you actually utilize the thief motif the most. Because that shit was straight out of Ocean's 11.
The light goes off, Mona goes down, gets the treasure. Yet again, another point for Mona. Mona pulls the most weight this arc.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with you on that.
How can you have no other argument? Mona pulls
No,
hella weight.
Because he does.
Yeah.
He teaches them about cognition.
He
teaches
is
them
the
about-
car.
He actually
Well,
formulates.
we
most of
haven't
that
gotten to mementos yet.
Is it Mementos in Madarame's place?
It's
or
like
after or before? One of those.
So you go to Mementos right after Kamoshida's.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to mementos all at once because like
That's a whole thing.
How
Yeah.
huge it is.
yeah because
66 folders.
yeah. That'll be more in the gameplay. We'll only mention mementos whenever we get to the time that mementos fits into the story overall.
Becomes important.
Yeah.
It's playing the video games theme music right now. It's
Oh, I'm
bothering
hearing
me.
the Maid Cafe theme music.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too.
I heard Phoenix Featherman.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard that a little while ago.
you're a little bit further behind us, I guess, on the musical.
It's fine, whatever.
Yeah. So, whenever they finally do send out Kamoshida's, wow, I did it again. I need to go get water. That's what
Madarame's
they- Yeah.
Madarame.
calling card.
Yeah, they send out Madarame's calling card, and they legitimately have to steal the painting. And they're running away, and they find out that it's a fake painting. And this is at the point where Madarame comes up, and he's like, "Yo, Yusuke, I let
This
your
is the
mom
real."
die, and she painted Sayori. And guess what? I took you in because I thought you had some talent like your mom." Just like the worst fucking way of saying things.
So another
it was kind of fucked
point
up.
that
Yeah.
we should probably bring up is in this painting, the Sayuri, it's a woman holding
A
something.
baby.
In the actual painting, it's just fogged over. But the real painting that was painted is actually a woman holding a baby. But Madarame painted over the baby to give the painting that artistic allure so that people can speculate, oh, what was she holding? To give it that little false little inflation of actual artistic value.
Make people, oh my god, it has so much depth to it. I
Yeah.
wonder
was
what's
true
beyond
art.
this.
Yeah.
But
When you walk
Yusuke
into a-
is so enraptured by the fact that the real thing is just it's a painting of his mother holding him.
Well, he instinctively knew that it was his mother because he
Yes.
immediately said "mom." We showed the real painting.
Yeah. So Yusuke's mom died when he was still a baby, so he has like no memories of what she used to look like.
Yes.
Other
That's
than,
why,
like, those memories locked away.
Him being so attached to Madarame was probably another thing that I liked. Madarame's palace, the more I think about it, is one of my favorites because you get the best interaction in a gray area where I didn't think there was going to be gray areas in this game. That Yusuke is on the fence, even after you get rid of Madarame, except he's angry in this one moment where Madarame really does say some fuck shit. But,
Yeah.
like, even
I watched your
afterwards.
mother die. What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. How could you do that? What?
Yeah. Madarame says some shit just to piss off Yusuke. But, even after the fight, Yusuke feels bad. Like, this is the person that took care of him. It was his father figure.
Raised
And
him.
and
And for
going
the rest of the game, he struggles with not calling him sensei, and just
Sensei,
calling
yeah.
him Madarame.
all the way till the end.
Actually, yeah, to the end.
I don't think he ever stops.
No, he doesn't. He always goes, and then he stops himself every
Shit.
single time.
I forgot you're a bad person because you raised me.
And that's just my best. It just, in my heart. That one moment. I was like, yeah, I got to keep playing. Let's keep going. And then we get into, after they convince Madarame to.
Wait, can we talk about the boss fight though?
I think we're doing that in the gameplay section.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
don't get me wrong, the boss fights are great because I especially like how they get tired throughout the course of it and they start giving up. Especially Madarame's boss fight, like
I just felt that one like was kind of I don't know. I thought that was nice.
it was,
thought
it is, but it doesn't belong here.
So
Not in this
another
section.
hot take. Another hot take. I like Okamura's boss fight symbolically.
Okay, no. Yeah, no.
We'll get to it though.
No.
Okay, I'll explain.
no.
I'll explain.
I would say I definitely need an explanation for that one.
I'll explain. Trust me, I got you.
Oh, look at the best song right now. It's playing.
Oh yes. Throw away your mask.
All right. And then we move further on, and they sort of enjoy themselves some more. And we start getting the hints of the student class president is stalking
Being
them.
a bitch.
Don't you speak about Makoto like that.
Am I wrong?
You're not.
Okay then.
Yeah,
But
that's what she was doing.
she was doing as she was told, all right?
She didn't even have a distorted desires or a palace to be a bitch.
Your mic just blurred because
Yeah.
there is so much fucking salt from Makoto here. Makoto is best girl, period. We don't
Oh
even
my
need to,
God,
we don't even need
no,
to go
stop.
over Kanashiro's
Stop.
palace. We can cut
We're
it off
going back
now.
to waifus. That needs to be stopped.
But she's not. She-Ho's a better girl than Makoto.
Oh wow.
You how the fuck is wrong with you?
This is amazing. Continue this now.
Moving onwards. Makoto figures out pretty much by herself through just a few
Through basic extortion.
yeah finds out about the Phantom Thieves
Stalking.
and then wants to
Hey, did you know that blackmail's illegal?
She stalked them the whole time.
listen motherfuckers.
She literally was like in Central Street behind you. Like, yeah, what's up?
Like the worst hiding ever.
She
she's
was
not
trying to save the student body.
no,
she's
this is
trying
like
to
literally
save
just.
her recommendation to college.
I was
She
gonna
was
say,
saving the student body.
She was literally no. This was before that even happened. She was still behind you when she was investigating y'all. She was like still behind you in the Central Street, and while you're just trying to go buy some guns, she's literally just like, "Hey,
Watching.
I'm here watching you
All right.
with this newspaper over my face."
And after Makoto finds out a little
You
little
wouldn't
bit,
think that she was a detective's daughter.
they
But
go
I'm probably
onto
her
a
sister.
school trip halfway through this arc, and that's whenever we get to meet.
Is that in this arc? I thought that was after.
No, that's in the middle of this one. It's before Makoto finds out about
Wait, hold on, wait. You said school trip?
to go to the TV.
Yeah.
No, that
Oh, the TV trip.
Yeah, the TV trip's in the middle of this.
oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I thought he was talking about the Hawaii trip.
because
I was
no,
like,
no,
that's way
yeah, no,
later.
that is way later.
Yeah.
No, the TV trip because this is
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
This is where
It
they meet
introduces our boy.
Akechi, the best.
Goro.
Yeah, Akechi Goro, but
The
Akechi.
Ace Detective.
Yes, the
Like-
handsome prince detective.
Naoto will shoot his ass.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
with the introduction of
Naoto
this,
Shirogane is the best detective.
they
I got to talk to you about cross tag in a minute. But yeah, continue.
Oh, jeez.
wait, actually, no, this is perfect. Talk about cross tag. I need to go get a drink.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Tangents are allowed.
this tangent is now allowed. All right. So in cross tag, Naruto's in the game, right?
Yeah.
For Persona 4. So I had him fight with what's his
Him.
name?
Him.
Her, you know what I
Her.
mean. It question mark. Naruto fight with the other Naruto.
Yeah, Shadow Naoto.
And that it
Oh
was so
wait, you
hilarious.
had Naoto fight with Naoto from Blaze Blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they sat there, called each other by their first names the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, do they not get confused?
That's hilarious. So there's actually crap. So in Persona 5, if you pay close enough attention to like the newscast and stuff, they'll talk about Naoto being a detective and like some of her new arrests and stuff that were going on. In fact, in one of the things where they have a TV blurb about Akechi, it was like, will Akechi surpass Naoto Shirogane as the new detective prince?
Yeah, I saw. I heard about that one. Yeah.
And
That's-
Rise's
that was
actual idol
like-
now, and you can get like her freaking poster in your room.
Yeah, you can buy her poster.
Yeah.
What was it? I was gonna say some shit and I forgot. It's alright. It's alright. I forgot.
It's about Naoto and Naoto again.
No.
The
Oh no, but her
fucking,
combos are wild. By the way.
Yeah, because I don't know if you played Ultimax, but she has insta kill combos because one of her supers will put a curse on you, and if you get hit by any of her other supers, it's insta kill no matter what your health is at.
Yeah, I saw a video about that too.
Actually, Shadow Naoto's worse because she has like less lag and stuff in between some of her combo block and attack strings, so it's worse with Shadow Naoto.
Ooh.
So Akechi, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Come back.
All right.
Yes, boy.
And I really like this scene too because you get your first hint that Akechi. Actually, what
You get your first opposition.
you don't even need a hint to know that Akechi is the bad guy from the get go because if you've watched any anime in the past, I don't know, 30 fucking years, then you're like, Akechi fits everything from Lelouch to fucking
Light Yagami.
yeah, light.
Yeah.
He's
Light.
fucking.
He looks like Light Yagami.
He does.
Yeah.
He does a lot.
So, and that was actually one of my main points of contention in Vanilla P5 because in that little pre-loading screen once you start up the game, you can see everybody's face from the main party on there except for Akechi. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that they fixed that in P5R so the twist is a little bit more of a twist because he's actually in that little pre-loading screen now.
That makes sense. I didn't know that. I figured there was something wrong with Akechi from the get go. I just didn't know what until much later on.
Mhm.
And
It's a lot more subtle in this game. I like it now.
I like that I had to spend time with him, get to
Yes.
know him.
That is probably my favorite improvement.
That
Okay,
that
rank
that is
is
amazing.
so
His confidant, his rank up
better.
in confidant is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Him tossing
I like it.
his fucking
Rank
glove at me.
7 throwing a glove at you to tell
Just
you the
throw that
truth.
bitch.
I hate you.
Yeah, that shit right there. I was like, I got-
Everything that has come to you, I had to fight for.
and he's just so bitter. He's so bitter to Joker the entire
He is,
time.
he is the best foil to an antagonist I've seen in a JRPG.
They are the best together, actually.
And
Oh, gosh.
he falls into
fanfic
that gray
too.
area so perfectly. And if I do have my complaints, is that I really don't like Joker because he's that fill-in for the
I mean,
person.
he
has to be.
He's whatever the male equivalent of a Mary Sue is.
Yeah.
The fill in for everybody. And that's a common thread across JRPGs that make them look like your average Japanese teenager so that you can self-insert into that story. And
So
that's why they don't have a lot of speaking lines as well.
that's why
I feel
I
like
liked-
Joker has a lot more speaking lines compared to other JRPG.
Yeah, it has more
Evil.
than, but they're all scripted and they aren't actually voice
Yeah, they
lines.
are. They
And
are.
what I hate about Persona 5 is a lot of you don't have as much diversity in reactions to your confidants because in P4 you could piss off a confidant to the point where their tarot card would be in reverse and you actually had to hang out with them and fix that relationship so you could progress that confidant or that social link. And they had a system like that built into the early builds of P5, but they didn't use it. Like I've even seen video of it. I forgot what it was called though. But it's basically when you like the little dialogue options where you can fuck with Makoto and like make the beat boop robot sounds, that would get you like the reverse confidant for them.
Huh. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
like in actual
saw
tarot, how like the cards in reverse, it can really fuck with that relationship.
I've watched videos on Persona 3 and 4, and I've seen in Persona 3 that you can't max out a lot of the female confidants without lowering other confidants because, you have to. What's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you max out a confidant in Persona 3, that enters you into a relationship with them, and then that
Yep.
lowers the confidants in others.
Yeah.
And
You don't have the option like you do in 5 to max out all your female confidants
Make a
regardless of
harem.
whether or not you get in a relationship with them or not. You can't make a harem in P3.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot, from what I picked up. But Akechi is introduced, and he sets the stage as someone who's against the Phantom Thieves from the get-go, because he doesn't agree with it, and he knows that
Which
they're
realistically, you wouldn't. You have this extra group that goes around and by some supernatural means makes people spill their guts. That is a very dangerous variable to have out in the world.
it
I mean,
is,
technically,
it is.
that's also stealing his job too. You're basically
Yeah,
doing his job for him.
Well, Akechi isn't doing it because it's stealing his job.
Hey. We'll get to that.
All right. Anyways, what happens is that in this scene we pick up on if they play it back multiple of times whenever it comes down to it, but in the revelation scenes, whenever we get there, the TV station is very important because it sets the stage for Akechi being the villain that he is. The initial stage. And the first guiding hint for, yet again, Mona to set the point of being valuable to the team over and over again.
It's funny because the only reason canonically we know that Akechi was foul is because he said something about pancakes.
Pancakes, yeah.
It is. It's funny, but often
One slip up.
that's what it is. A lot of the times when people fuck up, it's a little stupid thing, and for a man that is this well thought out and methodical, for him to slip up on pancakes.
He slipped up multiple times. He slipped up multiple times.
He does slip up multiple times, but he only slips up because of Mona.
Like we wouldn't have had the cognition to even suspect him if it wasn't for the pancakes fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And then we move past this scene, and Makoto approaches the group, and she goes, "So if you're
With
really
more blackmail,
if you're really the Phantom Thieves," and then she plays Ryuji talking out loud like a dumbass.
oh look,
There's a
she
lot of that.
illegally recorded our conversations. What
Yeah.
a bad person.
So she smartly plays the Phantom Thieves and goes, "We need to stop whatever this bullying is that's going on to the student body,"
These
and it
drugs.
turns into blackmail against the student body, and then it turns into drug muling the student body as becomes uncovered.
The students of Shujin Academy are drug running for all of
That is
speaking of Shujin Academy, the word Shujin means prisoner in Japanese.
oh boy. Just one layer after another for this fucking game.
Oh,
Yeah.
and in the Velvet Room in this game, the Velvet Room is a jail cell.
Yeah,
So-
we will get back to that as well. an hour into this. Um,
Yep.
So moving forward, Makoto goes and she gets a bit fucking like tired of how slow the Phantom Thieves are going about doing this. Bull rushes into the situation. They go and decide to be the decent people that they are to save her, and they
So
all
setting that up is so she's been getting heat from the top from her own principal saying like, hey, you're student council president, you need to figure this shit out. What are you doing? How can you be this useless? And then she goes home to her sister and talks about her problem. And it's like, you know what? You've been nothing but a burden to me. How can you be this useless? All you got to do is go to school, be student council president, and then you can go to college. But you suck, Makoto.
yeah.
And then the Phantom Thieves re-echo that same message of uselessness. Like, hey, we're the ones out here gathering information. You ain't doing nothing but watching us. You're useless. And then she runs out and puts her entire life in danger.
Yeah, that is exactly how that goes.
That's amazing.
Yet again, and it's that extremism, that fucking hey, all these adults are fucking assholes, and then it turns out your group was kind of an asshole to Makoto too.
Hey, she brought it on herself.
Makoto does not deserve any hate ever.
Okay.
I feel that way now, but at first I did not.
All right. So Makoto gets captured by Kaneshiro.
And a bunch of Yakuza adjacent dudes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the entire group runs into this nightclub. I don't know where the fucking guards for this nightclub are at, but hey, they all run in there together to storm in, and Kaneshiro goes, "Hey, that's funny," and he takes a picture.
Hey, guys, I heard you like blackmail.
And at this point, they go, well, you know what we got to do, guys, to save our own asses, and also help
Let's
out
try
the student
this.
body.
Tried and true formula that we've been doing 2 times that hasn't messed up yet.
Look like it's showtime. Haha.
And
Hey,
then
we'll
they
get into
go
Showtime later.
to yeah. I love Showtimes.
Oh, Akechi's is the best.
It is. Akechi's the best of everything.
Debatable.
It is so edgy, but so good. I hate Kasumi's.
That one's a bit extra.
It's way too extra.
Mona's and Lady Ann's is extra.
That
I'm
was
down
boring.
for any- Yeah.
Compared to the other ones, that one was boring.
Ryuji's and Makoto's are my
Fist
favorite.
of the North Star.
Yeah.
That one, and Anne's and Yusuke's. Anne and Yusuke's and Akechi's and Joker's are probably my top 2.
I like Haru's and Makoto's.
Haru's and Makoto's ain't that bad either. That's probably like my 3rd favorite one.
I like it simply because no, I like Haru's and Mona's.
Mona's.
Yeah, because I just like little Mona Chan, and then she runs over there and picks him up, and he smiles.
Gentleman.
Aw.
It's good. It's good shit.
All right, back to the story.
Back to the weeds.
So they get a hit on Kaneshiro's palace, and they go, "Oh shit, it's in the sky. How the fuck do we get into the sky?" And
Fuck,
Makoto,
we get up there.
yeah, and Makoto actually uses her brain and gets them up there because she's a patron to Kaneshiro. So often she goes, and they enter in, and Kaneshiro is one of the first palace rulers to just walk right up to you.
Come on back.
Yeah,
Let me show you something.
And also has the 2nd best palace theme.
and
Well, third now. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting about Maruki.
and Maruki's palace theme.
That's number 1 for me.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
pure. And his
I'm
boss
sorry,
theme.
Sae.
Oh god,
Size Palace is dope too. That's my
Yeah.
second.
no,
It was
that
the
theme
first
is.
before Maruki happened.
Yeah, it was my favorite up until Maruki.
Mine was
Yeah.
Futaba's at first.
Mine was Futaba's until I heard fucking Price.
Mine was
And then I
Fusaga, and then I
and then I
heard
heard Whimsy
Maruki.
Face, and then I heard Maruki's, and I was like, dang, they just keep upping the game.
Yeah, no, Maruki's. We'll get there in a moment. So
Spoiler alert.
yeah, um, at any point I'm just gonna put spoilers and like fucking little asterisks before the title.
Yeah.
That way,
I mean, the game has been out for over a year in Japan and long enough in the rest of the world that you shouldn't have to worry about spoilers.
yeah. At this point, it's
Don't
true.
watch a review video if you don't want spoilers.
Yeah, I am here to discuss this fucking game, not
Yeah.
to try to step around little parts of the story. Anyways, as they go into the back, and Kanashiro goes, "Yeah, fuck you guys. You're just trapped here, and I'm gonna say that you owe me money more." And they go, "Well, I don't want to do that." And they go to run away. And as they get to the front of the palace, we get the lamest fucking persona. Well, in
What? Whoa!
What?
I
Hot ass
Hold
take.
on.
listen.
So all
Wait.
the shit I talk about Makoto, her Persona Awakening is one of my favorites.
That's one of the best ones.
I
Fucking
hate
gun it.
her persona.
it's
The look
unique
of her persona.
too. That's wild.
I-
Johanna.
Her
Come
second,
on, man.
her second evolution of the persona is cool, but the stupid
That's
motorcycle.
stupid.
I'm gonna say her second one is stupid. Is her fucking motorcycle turned into a transformer,
Which
What?
is great.
What?
Oh my god.
And then
Alright.
her third transformation goes back into a
stupid.
stupid ass fucking car.
No, that one's stupid because it looks stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
I'm gonna have to reevaluate this friendship.
You said
Listen.
Annette, it's better than Johanna. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
what is wrong with you guys? Just
What is
fe-
wrong with you?
What? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm allowed to have my fucking opinion on this.
Split Splash, your opinion is trash.
He went to his kid roots and was like, a transformer. Yes.
I don't mind Makoto. I love Makoto as a character.
How do we have the exact opposite? I was like, Makoto's a piece of shit in the beginning. She sucks. But her Persona Awakening is really good. And you're the exact opposite of that. Oh, Makoto's great. I can excuse her blackmail and her horrible actions, but her Persona Awakening sucks. Could we be any more polarizing?
I have to come in here with just who I am and make these videos.
So let me try and change your cognition.
You cannot.
Makoto's Awakening is great because she comes to terms of her own feeble-mindedness on her own.
And
And
the way she ripped off her mask.
I don't even mind the reason. I just hate the way her persona looks.
Oh, okay.
That's all this is for.
That's
So
fine,
another
okay.
thing I would like to point out is the guys versus the girls. So I noticed that the guys have a lot harder time ripping off their masks, with the exception being Yusuke, because he's a bit more gender fluid, if you ask me. But I kind of related that to. So ripping off the mask on your persona is meant to be symbolic of you ripping off that fake face that you show everyone else to reveal the true self beneath. And I believe that's easier for girls to do because it's easier for them to be accepted in society regardless because of their gender. And the guys have a harder time ripping their masks off because showing their true self would cause them to lose a lot more friends and a lot more social standing. So them doing it is a lot more painful action.
Yeah, that's an understandable point.
Which
but-
Makoto just fucking rips that shit off and was like, let's
She
go.
yoinks that hole. Yeet.
Yeah, so but to counter that, Kasumi.
Kasumi doesn't count because plot.
Listen,
She has two awakenings.
She's not even
For
her.
her first persona.
her second awakening is like the most hardcore mass ripoff. She
Yes,
gets
it
the same.
is because she has to rip off. Spoiler alert! Because of spoiler alert.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
We'll get to
it's
Kasumi.
good shit, is what I'm saying.
Back to
It's-
Kanashiro. We gotta get back to
Back to
Kanashiro.
Kanashiro instead of jumping 100 hours down the lane.
Right.
Makoto awakens to her persona, and Kanashiro runs the fuck off. and they fight a bunch of people, and then they go back, and then business as usual. They find the treasure, which is located in a bank vault. Oh my fucking god, this fucking
Maze.
bank vault.
Oh, I love the way it looks stylistically. I do think the puzzle was a bit excessive though. Like the first two was, oh, okay, cool, this is cute and quirky, and then you get to doing hardcore algebra by the end of it.
Yeah, you gotta add numbers, make letters, and then that letter means something else.
Yeah,
And then
like
you mess
K
up, and you're
is
just like,
equal
fuck.
to 2, O is equal to K minus J plus 17. And I was like,
Right? And you're just like, this is not what I signed up for when I played this game.
Yeah, so
uh,
guide and moved on fairly quickly.
yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't
Wow.
blame him for that one. I mean, he's doing this just to review the game, so
Yeah.
Right.
I don't-
I sat there and did math.
yeah, I sat there and did math too, like a fool.
You know, whenever they say that journalists aren't real gamers, I don't necessarily
Journalists
disagree with
aren't-
that.
Real gamers, but
Well,
that's being elitist. So we'll cover that in a different video.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That'd end up on a tangent as well. They get through the vault. They come down into the very, very center of the vault, and they see the giant treasure that is Kanashiro's. And
Piggytron.
then, yeah,
One of my favorite boss fights.
What? Okay.
Piggytron is motherfucking kawaii.
so they they get Makoto to send the calling card with Yusuke sprucing it up this time. Well, he spruced up Madarame's too, but like
Yeah.
this
Because
is
Ryuji's was trash.
yeah, that's
Was
heavily
they added the
implied.
official logo on which one? The
Madarame.
Madarame one or the?
No.
or the-
The official one was on Kanashiro's. He had like a test one on Madarame's, but the
Oh,
one that
yeah.
they kept going forward with was on Kanashiro's.
I mean, the best
Okay.
calling card is for Shido when Futaba sends it out, but
Oh yeah.
hands down.
Eh.
What?
We'll get to that.
Anyways, so they get the calling card sent out. Kanashiro realizes, oh no, some buzz are wrong, and then they go to steal the treasure. At this point, this is the second time after they defeat Kanashiro. They learn of a masked man. Madarame hints at the very end of his cognitive form that there was someone else, and Kanashiro basically confirms this, that there's someone fucking around with people's cognition.
There's
And-
another metaverse user.
Black Mask.
Yeah. That's what we get out of this. And if you aren't suspect to Akechi at this point, then you need to read
That's
more
completely
books.
understandable.
Yeah. You need to be super suspect. And then we go into the most boring fucking palace imaginable. Now, the idea of the palace is great. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to say that the whole tomb fucking...
How do you hate this one more than Okamura's?
I'm gonna say wait, Okumura's palace is there. What? All right.
Futaba's palace
Continue. Give me your thought process on how this is the worst palace. Continue.
is literally
Honestly,
a straight
Mementos is
hallway.
the worst palace.
Mementos is the worst palace.
It is.
But continue.
But if we're going to count that as a palace.
It technically is
It's
a
the
palace.
people's palace.
Yeah, it technically is a palace.
I don't count that shit whatsoever. It's just like if I played Bloodborne and I counted the fucking little chalice dungeons as actual levels.
Yeah.
No.
So for the purposes of this video, are we going to conclude Mementos and the depths of Mementos as one or two separate palaces?
I'm gonna pop them all together as one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me why you think Futaba's palace is so bad.
It's a straight
It's
fucking
worse than
hallway.
Okamura. No, it's not. There's branches off into three
Oh, it
different
branches
rooms.
off into little areas that circle back in on itself. Now, I like the puzzles. I like the idea of Futaba's palace because Futaba's a good character. But the palace itself, I hate desert areas to start out with. The fact that we go to a small town that's useless after you go into the
Yeah,
small town
I do
once.
hate that the town is just a one-off. I think we should have visited at least one more time for something plot relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also pretty small. They just put it there just to put it there.
Honestly, that could have been inside of the palace.
But this is more gameplay, and I need to.
I mean, actually, that whole thing is her palace when you think about
Yeah,
it.
the entire desert is her palace.
Right.
Yeah, it's still. I didn't like how straightforward it was.
Okamura exists.
We will
Right.
get to Okimura, but I just like space more than sand, I guess, if we're
Fair
gonna look at
point.
it that way.
I get it. Yeah. Star Wars shill.
Yeah, that not anymore. But yeah, Futaba's
Oh, they're playing
palace
this song now. That's dope.
is they. We're gonna back up a bit.
Throw away
They
your
get
mask.
threatened by Medjed, and Medjed is this online organization, and it's basically a rift on Anonymous.
Yeah,
for the
it's
most part.
basically a riff on Anonymous.
They get they're just stressing the fuck out for a little bit, and then at this point they get they someone reaches out to them. Alibaba
A
reaches
new
out
challenger.
to them.
Alibaba.
Yeah, and she's like, you need to change this person's heart, blah blah blah. You need to ask Sojiro, blah blah blah, about this person, Futaba, blah blah blah. And they're like, we really don't know what the fuck to do with this, so we're just gonna ask Sojiro.
If you don't help me, I'm gonna expose you as the Phantom Thief.
Yeah. So they go, fuck, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I'm getting blackmailed by this person on a phone, and I'm getting blackmailed by the person on the internet. What the hell do we do? So
Cyberbullying, 2019.
they go to Sojiro. Sojiro's like, stop talking about my life, kid.
How do you know that name?
How
Yeah.
do you know that name?
And they break into Sojiro's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened.
So I think it's an important thing to mention is some of your little interactions with Sojiro shows him talking on the phone to someone you assume to be a girlfriend, but it ain't.
It's just Futaba.
It's just Futaba.
And when they do break into Sojiro's house, they don't just like kick down the door and shit. The door's open. They are a bit worried, so they go inside and they start looking for Futaba. And this is whenever you get Makoto best girl moment.
Yeah.
Eh.
Don't you me again?
Why?
Fucking,
Because she was scared of some ghosts?
she was scared of Futaba's dumbass.
Wish fulfillment central.
Futaba,
I'm scared. Let me
And-
cling to you, protagonist.
Let
Yeah.
me hold onto your leg and make it look like we're dating.
it's good shit. This is what cemented the fact that I had to go and
That's cliche as fuck. What, did you date Anne and Makoto?
no, we only date Makoto. Anne is too she her model career is too important. I didn't want to intervene with that, but we
He
haven't
didn't
gotten
want
to
to. He didn't want to
confidants.
destroy her with the baby.
Makoto is smart and strong-willed, and you're right. Sai is like a super better version of Makoto, but yeah,
I kind of agree with that actually.
They both got their own neurotic issues they need to work through.
Makoto best girl.
Debatable.
No more waifu wars. Let's talk about this game.
So after they find out Futaba's scared, they go back and forth with her on the phone. Eventually, they learn that they want to change that Alibaba is Futaba and Futaba wants her heart changed. And so they go on. They find out that Futaba's keywords is tomb, and then that they end up into the desert. And this is the first time that
Is there a river in that desert?
no,
Oh, okay.
what?
It's the name of a song. I got it. I just didn't say anything because it didn't make sense because the song is not in the palette.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's Shido's boss fight theme. It's called River.
Yeah.
Desert.
Don't worry about it. Go back to the palette.
Yeah. The cat bus becomes super important outside of Mementos as they drive further into towards the pyramid, which is Futaba's palace. Well, the desert is her palace, as we went over, but fucking whatever. The cat boss is now relevant. And then we get a glorified fan scene where Joker and Yusuke and Ryuji all stare down at On and not Makoto. What the fuck's wrong with them? And
Well, one of them.
I think Yusuke was looking at I think Yusuke was looking at Makoto, or he was looking straight. One of those things.
no, Yusuke looks at On too.
No, Yusuke doesn't make eye contact with On at all.
Makoto doesn't have her chest out in a boob window.
Yeah, that's true.
Ryuji and Joker are both looking at On, and Yusuke's like, "What the fuck is that up front?"
Yeah, you're right. That is how that scene goes.
Yeah.
There is another scene though where Yusuke, Ryuji, and
That's when they're wearing their yukatas.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't think Yusuke was looking at them the same way that Ryuji and Joker was looking at them.
Definitely not.
Yusuke was like, "Yeah, look at this art. Y'all see this art? I see this art."
And Ryuji's like, art rhymes with boobs.
Yeah, that could be one of his lines, without a fucking doubt.
Yeah.
So they drive up and they end up in front of the tomb. They go inside the tomb, and then you meet edgy version of Futaba.
It's not edgy. It's just really depressed.
Obviously, that's depressed mode, Futaba.
You're right. I hated Futaba like that. I don't know why. It was just not my thing.
I liked her feral form.
I didn't. Not at all. It was
Even though she tries to kill you throughout the whole palace, but she's dope.
I understood the purpose of it. It's just
because the reason it tries to kill you, all those traps and booby traps are representative of Futaba's trauma.
Trying to push you away.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism to push people away.
which I don't have an issue with that. I just don't like
You don't like the Egyptian motif. I got
Yeah.
You don't like Yu-Gi-Oh. You play Magic.
Weirdo.
The fuck's that got to do with anything?
Weirdo. All right, let's continue.
So, as he pointed out, the defense mechanisms, Futaba keeps pushing him back. Ryuji gets
While
fed,
asking for your help.
Yeah, Ryuji just gets fed the fuck up. He's like, why are we helping her? This is
Ryuji isn't built for complex conversation.
yeah,
Not at all.
He's like, this is fucking dumb. Why is she asking for help and then trying to kill us?
Trying to kill us, yeah.
And
So that comes into my first contention with Ryuji. I get he's supposed to be the comic relief character, but he's built a little bit too one-dimensional for me, where he becomes the butt of everyone's joke. And I think your normal teenager would realize after the second death attempt that, hey, she's mentally ill and she pushes people away unconsciously. But every time he's like, what the fuck is wrong with Futaba?
This is when I was starting to think this man's a complete asshole. Like, what the hell's wrong with him?
Ryuji
I'd
has
like
his
to think
moments,
most
all right?
Japanese teenagers have more empathy than what Ryuji displays.
Yet Makoto blackmails the entire group, and Yusuke.
Oh, I know. That's one of my
fails to-
points of contention with her. How come she blackmails a whole group while having no palace of distorted desires, but Futaba does it, and oh no, she sucks. She has an excuse.
Don't give Futaba excuses. She doesn't need them.
Her mother committed suicide in front of her.
Well,
That-
it wasn't suicide.
Yeah,
she
it was
murdered.
murder. All
She was
right.
murdered.
But it looked like suicide in the mind of an 8-year-old child. It looked like, oh no, my mom hated me so much she wanted to kill herself.
Well, that wasn't her who thought that. That was what they put inside her head.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
They
if they
fucked
put it
with her
inside her head or
cognition.
not. She still thought it.
Well,
So,
she kind
Regardless
of,
of who put it there.
as
That's
a,
still an 8-year-old. Like, oh no, I killed my
Since
mom.
this dungeon
Well-
is so forgettable, they move forward into the interesting part where they get to the
you said
top.
forgettable. I can't let that slide. It's not forgettable. But continue.
There's literally the unraveling of trauma that was persecuted onto
That
us.
literally led to most of the other stuff.
I told
Like-
you all, I like the
Like
puzzles.
Wakaba Science.
I told you all
Cognitive
that
science is the background of this freaky supernatural shit.
I enjoy the aspects of the story. I hate the design of this dungeon. Alright, tangent into gameplay. The design of this dungeon is straight fucking garbage. If you're going to loop into something and then complete the same cycle over and over again, you do not want to make it obvious to the player that you are doing this looping cycle forward and forward and forward. As with the other palaces, they do separate paths leading into a straight desirable version, but inside this game, they cycle into squares, cycle into square. While I love the puzzles and I love the display of the game, I hate the design of this fucking palace. It's a straight line with six, three, but six different pathways. Three of them being save points, and the other two being leading into separate zones. And they each rectangle in on themselves before heading back out. And that design philosophy just pisses me off.
So you just described the entire design philosophy of Skyrim.
That's an open world game, my guy.
That loops back into a giant hallway.
I like how you got quiet for like a second. He's like, oh.
No, I had to think about it because that didn't make any sense to me. Skyrim.
Yeah, all the dungeons in Skyrim.
The dungeons.
They loop back to the beginning, and then you go back out to the.
Yeah, the dungeons. But that's a cycle that's repetitive within the game that has a breakup. Whenever most people, I feel like, if they do Fataba's Palace, they go through the entire palace all at once. Like
So most people go through all the palaces all at
I
once.
would say everybody goes through every palace at one day.
They weren't designed that way. They were designed for you to go in, do a little bit, leave out, hang out in the overworld, and do some social links. Go back in before the deadline. For most of the palaces, you have like 2 to 3 weeks before the actual deadline. They were not intended for you to gun through them in one go.
Yeah,
that is the most popular way to approach them.
And if you do gun through it in one go, what I never felt with a lot of the other palaces was this sense of fatigue that I was just, okay, I do this, and then it cycles in on itself and goes in. And you go in and we will get to that. I hate that palace, but it wasn't a straight line, which wasn't the issue.
No, but it has the same approach to it.
It entertained me with the timing mechanics that it introduced with the bridges. I was fine with that. It was annoying at first, and then it annoyed me later on. But I preferred that over just doing nothing. Like, you had to go interview the different robots throughout the course. Yeah. And
you didn't have to. You could have fought all of them.
Yeah.
You could have just fucking ran their fades.
But
yeah, I fought all of them. I was like, I ain't got time for questions.
But that breaks up the monotony of it. With Futaba's Palace, I had the puzzle at the end of each cycle, and I was like, okay, the puzzle was cool, and then we go back, and it was another puzzle, and I was like, okay, and then we had another puzzle, and I was like, I love the reason that these puzzles exist. I do, I truly do, but the design of her palace is too.
It's too linear for you.
It is, way too much.
I can understand that. Because if you are doing it the way that most people do it, it does seem a bit repetitive to go from room, fight shadows, puzzles, back to the hallway. Room, fight shadows, puzzles, back to the hallway. All the way up until the cognitive trap.
But she does have, to be fair, she has one of the better puzzles in the game with the glowy red and blue symbols for the tombs, so that you could unlock that will seed area.
Yeah,
I like that. But besides that, that was about it for interesting mechanics outside of beating the shit out of shadows.
All right, going to sending her calling card.
Yeah, that was an adorable fucking scene.
So precious.
Yeah, the thing is, Ryuji was still an asshole the entire time.
Yeah, he's not someone you send in to be empathetic.
No.
No.
And the fact that he just wanted to open the door.
So I kind of like that about him because it is expressed consistently throughout his character model. His weapon he used, it isn't a weapon of finesse or tactics. It's a fucking hammer or a lead pipe most of the time.
Yeah.
His gun, shotgun. You don't need any finesse to operate a shotgun. Ryuji is a blunt instrument.
And he works as a blunt instrument, and he has his moments to shine, despite everybody fucking kicking him down every fucking chance they get.
So on that, each member of the Phantom Thieves fills out a different trope in like heist movies. So Morgana's like the mastermind who has all the information on the place. He's cased it, and he tells you how to proceed. Joker's the actual thief. He goes in and does the stealing. Ryuji's the muscle. Anne's the distraction. Makoto's the tactician.
What is Haru? Please tell me what Haru is.
So Haru is actually. We'll get to
She's
that
the
one.
heart of the
No,
phantom.
she's not. So,
She's the joke. She's
No,
the goddamn joke.
listen, it actually took me a while. I had to research her persona, but Haru's the insider. She's the one that goes in and betrays the company she's working for. She goes in and gathers information.
But she doesn't do that to Shido's. All right.
She does
No,
that
so
in
it's done
yeah,
only in
Shido's.
Okamura's palace. Well, she does it in Shido's palace.
I would say she does it in Shido's palace, but that
Well, that's the only palace she really gets to interact.
I
in.
would say
Anyways.
that's the only palace she does.
We get to the end of Futaba's palace after sending the calling card, and Futaba gets into her own palace because of
She
course
ends up
she
getting
does.
the app.
Yeah,
She ends up
Futaba
getting the app on
forgot.
her phone.
Futaba forgot this isn't Persona 4.
yeah, she gets into her own palace, and she runs into her cognitive self. That's like that goes. Everything you think about what's happened with your mother is complete bullshit, and you know it. What the fuck's wrong with you? Fix yourself.
Her shadow turns into Donald Trump. Wrong. Fake news.
You've been fed lies your entire life, Futaba. Get your fucking act together. And
It's time to face your true self. Persona 4 style.
And they get to the top, and they go to open up the tomb, and suddenly, bam, a fucking giant-ass Mother Sphinx knocks down the top of the pyramid.
It's a giant MILF.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wakaba.
Yeah, Wakaba.
Cognitive Wakaba.
Yeah, cognitive
Literally
Wakaba.
screaming obscenities about how much she hates her daughter.
Yeah.
That shit annoyed the fuck out of me. Like,
I hated her voice.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be shrill and annoying like that because that's how
yeah.
Futaba, her cognition of it was.
This is a good song.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
There's just gonna be a moment of silence where the song plays in the fucking background for a moment.
Then you get that copyright strike.
Listen,
Keep talking. Push the video
yeah,
forward.
we keep
You
going.
don't want to get copyright struck by Atlas.
And,
Oh yeah, you definitely don't. They
so,
already was trying they were about to go bankrupt actually, but you know.
Yeah.
so
In the original P5, you couldn't even upload gameplay after a certain date in the game
You
until
can record anything. You can
you could
record anything.
except like up to a certain date. I think it was like November, like towards the end of the game. You couldn't record any of that.
they
for
won't let
spoilers.
you record the last fucking
Yeah, the third semester.
eighth of the game.
Yeah, spoiler reasons, and they're holding fast to it too.
Yeah, they won't take it away either. They left Persona 5 just like that. You still can't record.
Oh, it's still like
I'm
that.
gonna plug in a fucking manual capture card to get this shit.
Yeah,
gonna
you
force
probably
it.
might have to,
You're gonna have
honestly.
to do, and you're gonna
Yeah.
get copyright stroke.
They can come after my soul. It's fine. Let's go. It's not.
All right,
I
so
paid money.
Wakaba, she does this thing. First you can't really beat her, even though honestly you can attack her.
Just with guns and long range attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's some gameplay design. But as we move forward, Futaba actually comes out on top. She gets attacked by her own cognition. They step in, save her, the group, mainly Makoto. But yeah, don't you question that? It is true.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
okay, I believe you.
Okay, I believe you.
And Futaba gets her act together. She sets up the weakness for the Wakaba Sphinx, and
Hey, you skipped. the
Wait,
part.
you just skipped her whole persona. What?
Hentai monster.
Excuse me? A crime, whatever the name of it is.
Necronomicon.
did Lou? I need you to go watch like Evil Dead and then read H.P. Lovecraft and find out what Necronomicon is.
Anyway, Futaba's persona is a UFO with HP Lovecraft tentacles that embrace her and suck her into the UFO.
That's how that.
At first, I thought that was her cognitive form taking that form, and I was like, oh, that's different.
Well, not in Persona. Not in Persona 4.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Persona 5 is totally different.
after Futaba gets her persona, which is a weird like spaceship, she becomes
Lovecraft UFO.
She becomes
the support role basically, and
Yeah.
They call them Nabis in Persona.
and
The Navigator.
so how it works is that Futaba signals the weakness to Wakaba, which turns out to be a giant fucking what's it called?
ballista.
Yep. I send Mona over there to shoot the ballista because why not? And Mona continues to. Maybe this is why I'm attached to Mona. I always sent Mona to go do shit for me.
So you did it to yourself.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I said Makoto or Yusuke mostly do my stuff.
No, I sent Mona to do like everything.
Oh, so another important thing that we actually skimped out on the Kamoshida boss fight is so since he's a perv, when you get to that point where you can send someone to snipe out Kamoshida, you should not send Anne because he always has eyes on where she is. And that theme kind of follows through to some of the other palaces where depending on that person's distortion, it may not be a good idea to send one of them. I believe like in Madarame's, he would notice when Yusuke was missing.
Yeah, so with me picking Mona every time, I never had an issue.
Yeah, because Mona's spoiler.
Yeah, it's just it's humanity's hope, which is great.
All right.
Mona is hope.
You're right.
Yes, Mona is hope.
Yeah, I fucking love Mona. I think I like Mona more than Makoto. The more
All
I
right,
think
then
about
we
it.
finish Wakaba fight.
Yeah, we finished
Yeah.
Wakaba fight. After they finish Wakaba fight, Futaba and the rest of them are like, oh, what the fuck? I think this is when Futaba puts on that stupid mask because she doesn't want to be seen with the rest of them.
Wait, you can't just skip how Futaba just dipped in like they were just all stuck there.
Oh, yeah, that is what happens. They go
So Futaba was the treasure of her own palace.
gay.
So when she
Oh,
reconciled
we can't say that
her,
in 2020.
no, you can't. You fucking insensitive.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Anyway, so when Futaba reconciled her own issues, she disappeared from her cognitive world.
Okay, let me fix my wording. That's fucking lame.
No, because lame is a historical word for the handicap. Are you making fun of the handicap now?
Oh my jeez.
I mean, okay, it's
All right,
stupid.
Futaba just left, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, all right,
In the
cool.
most generic, oh, I touched my heart. She's the real palace. What? Maybe this is why I was salty towards Futaba for a long time, was the fact that she's
real
the
cliche.
treasure. Ah,
It's real cliche.
yeah. That shit bothered the fuck out of me.
And
And
you do the best escape scene in the whole game.
Yeah, you get to see Mona's anus.
and they just dive right into that.
Dive right into that cat butt.
All the way fucking in.
I was not ready for that. I have never thought that until just now.
That's because you don't have a cat, Lou.
Like, yeah. Just.
I'm crying.
The moment I saw that scene, I was just. I had Tover on my lap too, and I picked him up and I set him aside, and he went, eh. And I was like, no, man, we can't be doing this. I just watched 5 people jump into a cat's asshole, and
Oh jeez.
so after they complete Futaba's palace, they set it up, and now they're just fucking killing it because Futaba topples Medjed and actually is the original creator of Medjed. She's that super powerful.
It's a super hacker.
Yeah, she is a super hacker. And if she wasn't fatally flawed with being a needy, nervous, anxious, depressive, manic, mentally ill person,
I'm,
No.
I'm so glad that that's available.
Why is
no.
that there?
Well, that's now on video.
Oh yeah, everybody has to need context when we talking about jumping in the cat's butt.
So,
Oh my gosh.
It's so beautifully animated too. Look at it.
Futaba, who, if she didn't have all these issues wrong with her, would probably be the most like Mary Sue character, hands down. If she didn't have, why am I saying this?
You want
She
to talk
already,
about Mary Sue?
she has
Your
her.
favorite character is Makoto.
Makoto, as we've went over, is flawed in her own ways.
Many ways.
Yeah, but so is Futaba. I guess.
No, Futaba had the courage to break through her own distortions. She knew she couldn't fix her mental health on her own, so she went out and got out about it. Makoto never went to go fix her problems. She drug other people into her problems and made things worse until they panned out.
You guys in this waifu war, Makoto and Futaba, jeez.
I like Makoto, but I will not stand for her being like. I'm not gonna gray over her flaws in favor for Futaba. Futaba's fucked up too, but she was fucked up because her mom jumped out in front of a car when she was 8
That
because of
yeah,
cognitive science. Makoto's fucked up because she couldn't handle the expectations lobbied on her.
very
If she
true.
hadn't just spoke up and said, "Hey, I'm not down with this," we wouldn't even be in this mess.
And speaking of that pressure, after Medjed is taken down, and all of a sudden, oh shit, the Phantom Thieves are the biggest thing talking on the internet. We end
Oh,
up,
yeah.
the principal dies next. Then we go beach trip, and then we reach into Akimura's palace. I think that's how that line of events goes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep,
Prince-
beach
Whoa,
trip.
whoa, whoa, whoa. No, you did it.
Accidentally go into Maruki's palace.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
do the
before.
beach trip. You do the beach trip, and then when you come back from the beach trip, the principal dies.
Yes.
And then after the principal dies, you go to Akumura's palace.
But before that, you go into Maruki's
Maruki's.
That is
Proto
after.
Palace.
That is after Akumura's palace.
Is it?
Yes. And
Yeah,
you
it
don't
is.
know it's Maruki's palace just yet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just question mark, question mark, question mark, palace.
Yeah.
So after Akumura's palace, you and Kasumi meet up at the stadium,
That
and then in Odaiba, and then you guys, she has the app on her phone, does all that crazy shit, and then you hear
She
the
has
most
been
greatest,
having
you hear the
problems
greatest
with-
music ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it gets you hyped for the palace preemptively. So as they go into the beach trip, which just is them enjoying themselves after it gets Futaba out of her shell. That's what it really is that she's coming to
Yeah.
terms with the group, and
A
the
person
beach
and not
trip
a gremlin.
it brings her further out. And the bestest thing is just watching them untake that towel from her head and going, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that
And
was
she
adorable.
actually is so fine.
Yeah.
Then we end up with Ryuji dragging Joker and Yusuke into hitting on random chicks for the rest of the beach trip. And then Yusuke thinks the two lobsters are the prettiest things he's ever seen.
Yo,
And
the
purchases-
lobsters though.
Then Futaba tries to cook them.
Yeah. And then we move past that. They come back, and the principal, due to his shady connections, and Makoto basically tell him to fuck off at this point, finally.
Finally.
Yeah, it takes a
Hold
full
on.
palace.
Hold on.
What?
So the principal doesn't die until they come back from the Hawaii trip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it goes beach trip, then Hawaii trip, then
Yeah.
principal dying.
Yeah.
That's what I
because-
thought
yeah.
he had meant, but
Yeah.
I was tripping.
Yeah. When he said beach trip, I thought he was talking about Hawaii as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the beach trip. The little like 7 days you spend getting Futaba nose.
Trying to get her ready for the beach.
Yeah. So we have to hit that point because that's good, like, development for Futaba. How does Futaba go from, being this
Being a
complete social shut-in. Yeah.
Being a
Me,
neat.
he, ha, ha.
No,
ma.
she's not a neat. She's a hikikomori. She can't be a neat because she doesn't have a job.
Whatever she is, she's a shut-in.
I thought neats didn't have jobs.
Yeah, but that's people who could have jobs. So it's not employed or education or training.
Okay.
Usually needs are for the people who have graduated from high school and just choose not to get a job or go to a university.
Tangent 2.0.
I have a doctorate in weeb studies.
So as we move forward, they go on a Hawaiian trip, and
Yeah, because
Yusuke,
school trips in Japan just take you to fucking Hawaii.
I wish I had school trips like that.
I had an opportunity to be an exchange student, but my mom said no.
Why?
She didn't want to pay for it.
Oh, that's a
That's
fair
kind of
reason.
expensive. I'm gonna say it's kind of expensive.
It's really expensive. It's fair, but I'm still salty about it.
that logic tracks though. Like, yeah.
I understand, but I still wanted to go.
So they end up in Hawaii, and then everybody ends up in Hawaii because
Yusuke brings rain wherever he goes.
Yep, and that means that what's her name? The shogi player,
Hifumi.
Hifumi, ends up in Hawaii as well because at this point we know her. And yeah, they spend their time there. You end up in this weird scene with Mishima because you end up in the room with Mishima, and Mishima won't shut the fuck up about the stupid ass
Phantom
fan
Thieves.
site.
We're on vacation, dog.
Oh, he drunk the tap water too. Don't forget that. He
No,
ended up on the
we
toilet.
haven't gotten to that point. We're on the first fucking day with Mishima. Damn it. Then we go to the next day, and we get some foreshadowing about Big Bang Burger. We get some nice photos taken, and then we end up in this weird scene where everybody comes into your goddamn room. And it's like, yes, I'm locked out. Everybody's fucking in each other's rooms.
That protagonist energy, man.
It's really just Ryuji and An, but okay.
It's
And
that's a
Mishima
lot of
is
people.
anyway.
Yeah, that's
Ryuji, An, Mishima, and Joker.
That's 4 people in this single room.
It's a double room. It's a 2-bedroom with a couch.
And you know Mishima is trying not to give up his fucking bed. And
I think he did though. I think
had to.
'Cause
Out
An
of it. He gave
I'm-
on her bed. his
Yeah.
bed.
yeah, An
because
took
he
it.
was trying to
His
win
way
some
out of his
points.
bed. Yeah.
He was trying to get himself some points there.
Fucking simp lord.
ends up in the toilet.
And if he hadn't drank tap water, could you imagine how fucking worse that scene could have went?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
would
you're right.
An shutting him down. Like, no, I'll sleep on the floor.
Yeah,
An's not a hoe.
yeah,
She
no,
embraces her sexuality, but An is not a hoe.
yeah, no, An isn't, and Mishima still would have been super persistent because that's his character.
I do love how chill An was because there is an option to be like, she's like, well, because the whole reason she's there is because her roommate has a boyfriend in her room.
Yeah,
She's like, well, I'll just sleep with you guys.
yeah,
And you have an option like, I don't know if that's a good idea, you sleeping in a room with a bunch of guys. And she's like, it's just you guys.
yeah.
Just completely disarms Mishima, Ryuji, and Joker. as
She's like, you guys aren't gonna try shit. You know better.
yeah.
Yeah.
In that
Which,
moment, turn them all to simps.
which I appreciate because An's her own character, which is why you don't romance An.
I don't romance on because she's kind of boring.
You
I
don't.
don't romance her yet because she's kind of bland and basic.
Yeah, On is in every Persona game. Like, she's a cardboard cutout of a personality that's in every Persona game. On is just a blonde Rise.
What the fuck's Rise?
You didn't play the other. You gotta.
Oh yeah, never mind.
I'm not gonna play another one because this is such a fucking time.
No, you should play Persona 3. Persona 3 is my favorite installment in the titles.
I just watched Persona 3 to
Oh.
get a grasp on it, and it's just a bunch of death.
It's the edgiest installment.
It's
yeah.
just dying.
They
Like-
literally summon their personas by shooting themselves in the head by denying the act of death.
And if I have issues with the gameplay systems inside this game, I was looking at the
yeah.
gameplay systems
You probably
inside
won't like
Persona 3.
So
I'd have a
there-
fucking mental breakdown.
so you can't control your party members.
Yeah,
in
that would
P3.
be that was
you
the
can
number
set
big
the
thing.
AI, but you can't control them.
Yeah, that was such an issue.
I would lose my fucking mind because like yeah, that's a one or done thing with all RPGs. If I can't control the party member, I gotta stop playing the fucking game. I have to have control over all aspects of the characters, or else I'm not gonna have fun. I need it to be my RPG, not me and the other character's RPG.
All right, Hawaii trip.
Yeah, we end up in
Yeah.
the Hawaii trip.
You
Ryuji
meet
and
Kasumi.
no Persona,
Oh wait,
and
you're still on that part.
keep talking back and forth. You get this weird moment where if you select, yeah, I'm interested in a girl, and you select the smart chick, they immediately think of Futaba and not Makoto, which was a mistake on my part.
Futaba's way smarter than Makoto.
I know, but I thought they were referencing something else. I thought Futaba was too new to the game for her to just.
Yeah, I just played neutral on that part because I did. So, especially the first time playing through, because I was conditioned by fucking Persona 4. Like, if you express interest in the wrong girl, it may fuck up your social link.
Yeah,
That's
so,
what I thought too, actually. And I was like,
so I clicked it anyways, thinking, ah, yes, we must be talking about Makoto. And then Ryuji's like, you're talking about her? And I know that was a stock answer, but they still go and confirm it later as they thought I was talking about Futaba.
About Futaba.
And I was like, no, bro. And then you spend the next final day with whoever you choose. If you
Whoever
pick-
you have the most, you have to have a certain social link with them.
yeah, it's got to be pretty high. Well, not pretty high, but higher than most.
I think you gotta have like a 5 for Kawakami, and I think you have to have at least 4 or 5 for Hifumi.
Yeah.
well, at that point, I had all of them up to what I could have had them up to at that point because I maxed out everything pretty early.
Yeah.
So I went with Makoto, of course.
I had Hifumi for my first one.
Yeah, I went with Hifumi. Second go around, I went with Kawakami.
Second go around, I had Makoto.
We've already discussed how I feel about Makoto.
Yeah. Moving past that, they come back from the trip. At this point, I believe Akechi opens up for his 5th until the September time frame, his 5th social link. At this point,
Yeah.
you should be up to about 4, and Akechi has shown you the jazz place, and he's
Yeah.
taking you around. And
During
all
some
Akechi
billiards.
Yeah, and he introduces some more mechanics unique to Persona 5. The Royal is what I learned. And so, Akechi is still probably the most interesting character to me at this point in the fucking game.
Still
Still.
Maruki.
Yeah, and Maruki. Yeah, you got to keep him up, but he's still.
You have to pay attention to what Maruki's saying, though.
You have
There's,
to
like, a lot
listen
of
to what he says.
subtext in Maruki's lines of dialogue. Not Ryuji. Akechi wears his heart and motives on his sleeves.
Yeah.
Wait, we kind of did skip over Maruki. We didn't say when he came in. We didn't say anything.
Well,
about
he
that.
came in
Right
during
after the
com-
Kamoshida
Yeah,
incident.
but so even with filling in his social link as it goes, because if we just wait until we get to Maruki's palace, we can backtrack and fill in all that information. If we just toss in a random social link as it builds throughout the time, then
There's like 23 social links.
yeah, that would be its own separate thing. We got to get to the end of at least Persona 5 here before I could cut it off, and then we just got to do another part to this section because we're reaching about 2 hours. So, moving forward a bit faster, we go from there, and the Phantom Thieves site is blowing up. We get, and the top person on it is Akimura, which is this business owner, and his daughter goes to Shujin Academy, and
Go to school with us.
yeah. And through this, they're like, what the fuck's going on? They investigate Akamura's palace. They find out that his daughter is being forced into a marriage she doesn't want to be a part of. And then the Mona Ryuji thing happens. And Mona gets super fucking butthurt
I
because
fucking hate that part of it.
Ryuji goes, yeah, Mona, you're really useless with having Futaba here anyways. So
in a coy way. Like,
yeah,
Mona flew off the fucking handle after being called useless once.
Mona's pride is like his defining feature.
Name them. Name them. Name them, Lou.
Every time Ryuji says something.
I'm not talking about just the little bullshit palace interactions. I'm talking about actual story.
Yeah, story-wise, he doesn't do it as much.
Because they call Ryuji useless
Dozens
millions of times.
Stupid
Ryuji gets
Ryuji.
shit on the most.
Useless
You don't see him
Ryuji.
running off.
Dumb Ryuji.
But like, actually, yeah, that does happen a lot. Yeah, never mind.
Like, way more.
There's a reason why he's never in the party.
Or
Uh-huh.
whenever
let me
Ryuji
just- Let me
misses,
just give you. Yes, exactly. That's
you're so
exactly what I was
useless,
gonna say.
Ryuji.
Yes, you're gonna have Skull. I mean, not Skull. Joker, you missed. Oh, come on, Queen. You gotta do better than that. Lady On, you'll get him next time. You fucking suck, Ryuji.
Yeah, I just right there every single fucking time.
Yeah,
I like
You're
Ryuji.
right.
I keep him in the party a lot, but I kept
Yeah.
everybody in the party once I could switch them out. Like I
Yo,
was
fucking
constantly,
On is a fucking boss killer.
On.
yeah, concentrate,
and,
fucking Hellblaze. Anyways, once they get into Akamura's palace and they run back into Mona and Haru, and Haru is Akamura's daughter. They don't know this at this point, but Mona has convinced this poor innocent girl into going along with his bullshit.
Yeah. To prove himself that he roped in an innocent girl into a cognitive world just to prove that he's not useless, that he can do what he does with any random nobody on the street. Putting this girl in mortal danger just to satisfy his ego.
Yeah.
Little beauty thief.
We're not even going to talk about that.
Yeah. Mona.
Let's just stick to why Mona's shit, please.
Mona's. This is Mona's brightest moments, to be fair. Mona doesn't shine for a few.
Some hope of humanity we have here.
For a few hours.
Not to mention,
he's pretty much under the bus after all this.
Yeah.
not to mention his whole reaction to human desires.
Yeah, we've
Think
ignored
he's
that
human.
entirely. Thinking that,
Yeah.
yeah. The point being is that once they get into Akamura's palace, they have to convince Mona for like 3 days that
To join them.
Oh,
Hey.
let's talk about how while we're doing that, he tries to run over the party in Mementos multiple times. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
yeah, Mona was being a bit of a dick, and Haru's just going along with it because Mona Chan's gonna help me change my father.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how Ryuji was about to apologize before Mona said some off the cuff shit. And
Wait,
then
no, Ryuji said
Yeah,
something.
Ryuji
really
does
crazy.
says some fuck shit
he
to
didn't
Mona
give
before.
the best apology, but we've talked about how Ryuji's not the most tactful person.
Yeah, but you can't blame Mona for almost fucking him up for that.
I can totally blame Mona. He was behind the wheel.
Mona's anger
Exactly.
was an outburst that was semi-justified by Ryuji just not knowing when to
No.
have
Mona
some
has
empathy.
complete control.
Literally, everybody called him a douche for doing that.
Yeah. Which is still not okay. That's still just my biggest problem with Persona 5 is how much they shit on Ryuji for no reason.
Like,
What do you
I love
mean?
Ryuji as a character, but to be fair,
That apology
he-
was ass.
yeah, it was.
It was ass, but Ryuji wasn't the only person wrong. Why did he have to come forward and apologize?
Everybody apologized. It's just Ryuji said his shit and with a smart remark at the end.
Yeah.
first? We already discussed that Ryuji isn't the most tactful person.
So
Doesn't excuse
Mona
him.
then
The
decides
entire altercation happened because Mona can't control his emotions.
to make people
You
run
be saying
around
some awful
mementos.
Stuff too is somebody was always calling you a piece of shit every time you missed one attack.
So, Mona causes us to run around mementos before Mona eventually crashes. Then they fall for the stupidest fucking look over there, guys, and
Yeah,
then they
I hated that
run the
part.
fuck off. And even I fell for it for that moment. I was like, "Really? What's going on?" And then they
You're
look
like, "Yeah, who
over
about
and
to
they
fight?"
just drive the
Yeah, I was
fuck
like,
off.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, is the Reaper over there?
That would
But
have been.
no,
That
it was
would
That would've
literally
been
nothing.
That
The
would've been
one
sick.
moment Haru gets is actually useful for Mona only.
Yeah.
So they come back into the palace. At that point, they have convinced Mona and Haru to come back, and they go in there and they meet Akimura in his uh, fucking Darth Vader bullshit with his nice little with her fiance, her cognitive fiance. And at this point, this is where her true persona awakens, and it's really nothing much. It's just like, now let's
It's Milady.
go. And then we
It's
go.
Milady.
Oh, I hate the dub pronunciation. Melody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They butchered the hell out of that. But whatever.
And so they fight the fiance, they defeat the fiance, and then they go into the palace some more. At that point, really nothing of note happens well, story wise, up until you get to the end of it, and all
The
that's really
worst
getting
boss fight.
explained.
So now that we're here, I actually like the symbolisms in the Okamura boss fight. So his whole thing is, so first of all, you're on the clock. You got 30 minutes to do it, and you're getting hit with wave after wave after wave of mobs that all have the same weakness. And if you don't beat them fast enough, you have to start that wave over. And the reason I like it so much is it's kind of ties into Okamura's whole thing is he was overworking his people, and it puts you on the clock. And if you don't do this job right, it gets even harder. So it kind of like translate Okamura's whole distortion into the boss fight.
Yeah.
Unless you have myriad truths, and then you screw everybody up.
No, fuck that.
Point being,
So I tried not to use any of the DLC personas for the main game because they're all busted.
so I like the boss fight quite a bit too. I realized that
It's
I
a
was
lot.
on
what?
It's better than the old one.
I was on
This one is worse. I hate this
Messenger with
one.
you
It's
guys,
better than the old one.
right? I was on Messenger with you guys, and I realized I was on a clock, and I was like, I need to stop fucking multitasking here and just beat the shit out of these robots to make sure I don't get.
Yeah, and that's why I like it because it puts you in the position of an Okamura employee. Like, hey, you're on the clock. You got this job to do. If you don't do it right, you got even less time to do it, and you're gonna fuck up, and you got consequences to face.
And
So
Okamura,
I like the symbolism of it, but it's still the worst boss fight.
It is the worst boss fight in this game.
yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
I do like the cognitive Haru though.
Yeah, I thought that was the best part of that boss fight.
Going back, I like that they added a cognitive Shiho and Mishima the Kamoshida's fight. That's
Yeah.
a lot better.
Did they change anything for Kanashiro's?
The bodyguards at the end.
Yeah,
in the
they
first
added
game,
two
you
bodyguards,
Yeah,
2 fly bodyguards.
Yeah, the bodyguards
Yeah.
were an interesting mechanic to deal
Yeah.
with.
But you
and
couldn't
that
hit him.
yeah, until you got through them. And if you fought it long enough, he would run out of money, and that's when he got depressed, like you were saying. Like, because Satana Shiro, if he doesn't have money, he's powerless. So
Yep.
that's when he got depressed.
Fucking what's it? Akamura, right before his boss fight, tricks the entire group except for Mona, and Mona steps up.
Man,
and,
that's just because of cat-like reflexes. That
yeah,
don't count.
and Mona
It's
goes,
Mona and Haru, right? Both
shines.
of them
No,
are-
it's just
Mona.
Mona. Mona steps
Oh,
up
Haru, too.
and goes, no, Haru doesn't step out. She gets.
Oh yeah,
unlocked.
that's right.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
she did.
Mona's moment to shine. Mona
And that's what I hate. That
Jumps
should have
out,
been Haru's moment to shine.
pulls-
Haru doesn't have a moment in her own arc.
Yep. Pulls back the slingshot, knocks the destruction button away, and goes, let's fucking do this. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, yeah, Mona!
Mona redemption complete.
Basically.
And then the boss fight starts, and then the boss fight ends after you guys win, and
You gotta go fast.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta leave, take the treasure and leave.
they take the treasure, and Haru hangs back just a little bit because she's just overly concerned about her father. And maybe she should have hung back maybe a little bit
A
longer.
little bit longer, yeah.
Maybe the whole party should have hung back a little bit.
Maybe the whole party, yeah.
Because right as she goes to leave, a masked man steps out of the shadows and assassinates Akamura right to the back of the fucking head.
So the important distinction being in the previous palaces, as long as we talk to the shadows and let them know, like, hey, you're a piece of shit, you need to atone and take their treasures, they've been fine. There's been no mental shutdowns, there's no problems or repercussions in the real world other than them atoning for their crimes. But in this one, the shadow got killed.
Yep.
And that brings a chain reaction of the actual person in real life dying.
Which speeds into the remaining arcs where this is all just a setup at this point.
What used to be the last third.
Yeah, someone sets up. Someone has set up the Phantom Thieves, and at this point in time, they have really been fucking played. Everyone thinks that as Akamura goes to confess his sins, he has a mental breakdown on screen, begins bleeding out of his eyes, and it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's an effective scene to me.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah.
It put a shock to the whole Phantom Thieves, definitely.
Yeah, and as it breaks down and the Phantom Thieves go, oh fuck, Haru even goes, oh no, what have I done for a moment?
She's like, yeah, I gotta go.
One important thing is throughout the course of the game, there have been small times when they've been like, hey, is this really right? Should we be invading people's subconscious minds to deliberately bring out a change of heart against their will? It was like, yeah, it's fine. They're pieces of shit anyway.
Yeah,
But the backlash from this event makes them really start to question, hey, are we really doing the right thing here? That if we fuck up, we could have serious repercussions here, because they don't know that an outside force has killed Okamura. They think that this is a result of their change of heart, that they did something wrong.
yeah.
That this could have always been an outcome, that maybe they just been getting lucky these last couple go rounds.
And so now they're fucking stressing over every last little bit of this until it starts setting itself up. And whenever it enters in that what's it? Fuck. My brain just dropped. Someone complete this story for me.
What, the Sai?
Yeah, leading up to this point.
Oh, Akechi shows up, and
Yes.
they have the school festival.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do the school festival is a big part.
And so, as they do the school festival, Akechi gets brought in because Sai wants to, not Sai. This is the way to
Makoto.
get. Yeah, this is Makoto's way of getting to Sai so that they can use him for information. That way, that they can try and turn Sai at this point to kind of,
The Phantom Thieves.
yeah, that way that they realize that, hey, we might not be the worst people. This could be that shadow meta user, and Akechi even plays into this whenever they meet up with him. He's like, yeah, I've long suspected that blah blah blah, but death hasn't been the MO of the Phantom Thieves at all.
Because for the longest time, he's been opposed to the Phantom Thieves' actions, but he goes on live TV and says, no, I don't think the Phantom Thieves are responsible for the Okamura's death, because death hasn't been their MO, like Bellinger was saying.
And as this happens, Akechi leaves a few details, and then it starts going into this weird, like, blurred out moment as they move forward. And as we approach Sai's actual palace and they go inside of it, you get some more scenes of where Futaba grabs Akechi's phone, and then you geeking out apparently. And then while it's a weird off just scene normally, because Futaba is an off character,
She's quirky.
you think nothing of it at that moment, and then you go into the palace, which has one of the better themes, period. And then as they go in there, Sai is the third palace owner to directly come in contact. And what separates her apart is that she's playing into what the Phantom Thieves want. She's like, go ahead, let's do this. Well, we can. I'm gonna win regardless. This is my game. I know I've already know the outcome.
Yeah, the house always wins.
And so, the beauty of having Akechi is that without Akechi, they would not have done shit.
Accurate.
Akechi.
Yeah, I don't think they would ever arrive to Sai's palace without Akechi.
They would have never made it to her. They wouldn't even made it past the first floor.
Yeah, because most of the shadows in there are weak to light.
Yeah.
Lighter curse.
Yeah.
And who's using Arsene at this point?
Yeah, Arsene
Yeah.
stops learning moves at level 19.
Yeah.
So, Akechi pretty much sets up his own game, and then you go through one of the more interesting palaces, in my opinion, because there's so many different levels to it, and as you go through it, there's different things happening each level, from battle arenas to moving around in complete darkness to having to deal with fucking slot machines, and finding
Dice.
different panels to make sure that they're working properly.
Yep.
And whenever they go up to the final bit where they would come to the bridge that would lead up to the treasure, Sai moves the goalpost for them.
She fucking flips the script again.
She goes, "Yeah, well, it's supposed to be 100,000, something like that." And
Yeah.
Akechi
It
goes,
went from 1 million to like, well, now
No,
it's
she did.
100 million.
She did 50,000. She was like, "Oh yeah, nah, let's double that, 100,000."
Yeah.
and
There
Akechi
you go.
goes, "Yeah, I figured you'd do some shit like that," and tosses out all the money anyways. And,
Like, I got my trap card.
You activated my trap card.
and so they get inside, and as they get inside, they see the faint outline of the treasure, which is odd because they never usually see what's inside the treasure at all. But
It's
here,
usually like this fuzzy mask.
yeah,
But here they can clearly make out the shape of it. And with Makoto being familiar with Sai, she hazards a guess that it's probably a police notebook from their late father, who was a detective,
mhm.
which Makoto wants to be at least in law enforcement, if not a detective or a police officer, and Sai is a prosecutor. So they have strong ties to law enforcement, and she thinks that it may be that notebook from her dad that may have spiraled her down the path to her distortion.
And then this leads into the end game portion of this section.
Asterisk.
Yeah. They go in and they steal the treasure from Sai, and then all of a sudden they are surrounded by forces. Not only Sai's own cognition is on alert, but the real life police force is brought in somehow, magically, due to
So
someone's...
it's actually when they leave the palace.
Yeah.
So that's actually a very important plot point. So in the cognitive worlds, people's palace and the area around it is distorted based on their distortion. So like we were saying with Futaba's, the entire area around her palace was a desert because outside of her tomb, she didn't see anything else in the outside world. But for Kaneshiro, his palace area was all of Shibuya. The actual buildings around Shibuya look pretty normal, like you would be in the real world, but his palace, the floating bank, looked different. And for Madarame, his museum was distorted, but the other areas around Shibuya weren't. And with Sae, her casino, where her palace is distorted, but everything else around it looks like normal Shibuya, like you would not be able to tell the difference. So when they exited her palace into normal Shibuya, it was kind of hard to tell the line between where they were and where they weren't in the palace.
Yeah. And that's whenever they brought in the real life police force that
Yep.
Someone turned on you. And
Yeah.
this is when you get the plot point that,
And now we're at the beginning of the game.
yeah, it loops back into the interrogation. The interrogation
Or you
scene.
hike up on drugs and you get kicked in your stomach.
Yeah. And then you find out that, well, you don't really find out, but it's told to you that Akechi's the one that betrayed you. He's been working with Shido this entire time, and that there's this plan that's set in motion that you don't even really get informed on until after the plan is done. That, hey, Sai, take this phone and make sure Akechi sees it, okay? And Sai just goes, okay, I believe you. And takes the phone, shows Akechi. Akechi goes, huh.
Nice phone.
Yeah.
Are we able to speak about the other options, or are we just going with straight story right
No, we're going straight story. We're not doing bad ends.
now? Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, I haven't gotten that point, but if you want to interject and add that right now.
Oh,
You
so
could
basically,
just die in that interrogation room.
yeah, you can literally die in that interrogation room. If you don't give her the phone, you will die. Basically, that's it.
And that's the end of the game.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
game over. This is truly an unjust game.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's some bullshit. So,
It gets worse.
Akechi goes in there, does some fucking GTA shit where he already has the silencer on the person's weapon as he
No, he
equips
pulled
it.
it out of his pocket and
Yeah,
put
he
it
pulled it out of his pocket and then
He had the
screwed it
silencer on his person. He
Yeah.
just took the gun from the guard and killed him.
Yeah. And then he shoots the protagonist right in the face after giving the stereotypical,
Villain speech.
yeah, and then gives the evil young anime villain grin.
laugh, smile,
The
laugh.
smirk. The smirk.
And then they hold on for what feels like 10 minutes that Joker is
Because
dead.
that is the bad ending. Like, you could just see fucking credits from there. If you're
Yeah,
not
that's
careful.
literally credits right after that.
Wow. Yeah, no, that would have worked too as an ending. I would have been like, damn, man, this is rough shit. Like, why they got to do things like this to me? Because
Just straight up just
they
kill
they
you.
were holding on to that for like 10 minutes, and I was like, fucking really? Is this?
I remember you were telling us, like, did my guide lead me astray?
Yeah, I was so, I was like, did I really fuck up? How am I gonna write a review if I fucking, how am I gonna be able to even talk about the game if I can't even play through the entire fucking game? And that's really well done. And after they explain to you that it was a metaverse cognition of Sai's, because Sai is the only one that really knows that place down there, and then they set it up that way, and Futaba used her genius fucking her.
It was the cognitive science plus
Yeah.
the tech skills.
She was able to bounce off the exact position where the place would be, and was able to put them into the cognitive realm, and that allowed Sai to come back and free Joker. Joker came back to the cafe, and everyone's like, "Oh yes, good, good, good." And Kasume's like, "Don't stress me out like that." And that's like, that's it. And then everybody
that's
else that you're friends with at this time, if you should have maxed out your confidants at this point.
I think Shinya is pretty late though.
Shinya is pretty late, and I didn't get to max his out because I was more concerned with my
Haru.
stats and Haru.
Uh,
I had to get her to her second awakening.
yeah, I had
And
everybody.
Haru is hard to get a hold of. She isn't available every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Haru was the last one I maxed out. Shinya was already maxed out. I had my stats maxed out. Haru was the last person. You're right. I hadn't had Haru at this point. But now you spend the remainder of your time with a hood over your head while they're trying to figure out Shido's next play as they're organizing themselves. They eventually do figure it out and find that Shido is the just worst human being, and it has killed people, had Futaba's mother killed, has had is actually Akechi's father, even though he just left him. And they find out that he's gonna just leave Japan as a stepping stool, and that this is his ship, and that it's gonna allow him to guide himself to wherever he sees in the foreseeable future. And whenever they find out where his initial palace is and they get on, it's probably the coolest fucking surrounding area of a palace, just seeing the broken down city of Tokyo and the water up around it. They go inside, and it's just this area that's completely covered with people wearing their masks, and those masks are that no one really shows their true face to Shido, because they all want to be on a ship with him, and that he believes that everyone hides their real face the same way that he's hiding his real face from the public, because he is an asshole, but the public loves Shido.
And funny enough, like, his actual policies that he preaches on in the overworld aren't bad. Like, I agree with his political policies that he's preaching in the overworld.
And the thing is, how he was saying those things, and no one is certain if he would actually have fell through with them. He probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
He was doing what he could to make a quote rich country.
Yeah, you just described most politicians.
Yep. And so the fact that you're able to stop this guy, actually stop him, was a nice cathartic feeling for me. And what his boss fight does the typical JRPG thing of like
This isn't even my final
Yeah.
form.
This isn't even my final form.
repeatedly 3 times, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
3.
So my favorite part of that fight is it's a new edition of Royal where he does a shockwave and knocks your party members away.
Yeah, and it's
And then
just
you
you.
just get to fight this dude one-on-one who ruined your life. It's so cathartic.
Yeah, it's good shit. And I had a persona that repelled like nearly every element. So I just
yeah.
sat there and I let him beat the shit out of himself.
Oh yeah, I had to do that too. I had one that repelled physical, ice, and wind, I think, and it was just strong against every other element. It was just this Yamato no Orochi that I min maxed, and that's pretty much how I won that boss fight.
And finding out that his treasure is just this wheel, this nice ship leading steering wheel. What do they call those? There's an actual name for it.
I don't know the name.
For the
The steering wheel.
the thing.
yeah,
thing.
That's
Yeah.
just.
Anyways.
The only thing I remember is like they'll tell them to man the helm when I'm.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't fucking know.
But
Moving
that's
past
just
it.
the area around it. I don't know what the actual wheel's called.
As you're going through the palace, near the end, after you've collected enough not calling cards, after you've collected
Letters
the
of
letters to
introduction.
go to the main area, Akechi shows up. And he goes, well, he gives this long speech about how he's had to make the perfect version of him. And I'm like, I feel every last bit of this. He's like, I have to display myself as what I needed to be. I perfected everything about myself, and just to get recognition. And look at you, Joker. You
It's
just
all handed to you.
you have them with you right now. All these people. But I can do it by myself. I've always done it by myself. And you're now here. I fuck my goal of it just killing Shido after I tell him I'm his son. I just need to kill you because you're everything that I should be.
So important plot point up to this point. Akechi has been inducing the mental shutdowns that have been occurring in the overworld. He's been causing people to go crazy for the political gain with people in Shido's party. But more than that, he's been causing mental shutdowns in people and then solving their psychotic breakdown cases to further his career as a detective prince. So he's never actually solved an actual case that he didn't induce.
But as it shows that he has this duality to him because halfway through the fight with Akechi, his persona switches, sort of like Joker's. And Mona even points it out that you might have had the same ability as Joker, but you shut yourself off to it. You only need 2, one for your lies and one for your hatred. And Loki is that persona that was allowing him to cause the psychotic breakdowns in it. And he does it to personas that you get to capture later on. No, you could capture them beforehand. He does it to the personas, and they get much, much stronger. And that just them displaying that through an actual gameplay mechanic rather than going, yeah, he just caused them to break down and shit. They display it to you that this is his persona's ability. Hello?
Yeah, I'm
I hear you.
Okay.
You're doing good so far.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. No comments so far.
All right. And as he steps forward into that role and they take him down, and Akechi is just pissed off that he couldn't beat them. And Makoto goes, and she goes, yeah, well, I was jealous of you because you were still able to do what it took all of us to do. You had the strength and the smarts, and you were able to keep pace with, what, eight
All
other
of it.
individuals.
It took 8 people to match you, one person.
And that still, to Akechi, wasn't enough. And he goes,
Yeah.
fine,
Phase
whatever.
2.
And then that's whenever Akechi's cognitive form, Shido's version of Akechi, steps forth. And Akechi sees the way that Shido sees him, and that just pisses him off to no extent.
Because it's all true.
Yeah. And he goes, fine. And whenever he pulls out his gun, and Shido Akechi goes, yes, good. And he fires off behind you and then turns around. If you don't max out your persona with Akechi at that point, you done fucked up, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You no longer have the true ending. You have the basic ending.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, everyone's like, man, even Haru's like, I won't forgive you for what you did to my father, but
I get it.
yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
understand. Which song is this?
It's from the main cafe.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And I wish we had a better song choice for these moments. As it moves forward, and they get to fighting Shido, and Shido is in the what basically comes down to, if you're an American listener, it's like a hall of representatives. It's a place where all the government officials have lined up, and they are
It's
just
Congress.
yeah, it's literally just Congress, the Senate, all of them.
I am the Senate.
Yeah, he is Palpatine at this point, and the entire place closes around him as they agree, and they rise on up.
Akechi appears to have died, by the way.
Yeah, appears to have died.
Yeah, Futaba points out that there's no vital signs
Hmm.
behind the gate.
And at this point, you go into your fight with Shido. Shido goes into a bunch of different forms, and he realizes that you're that one kid from nearly a year ago. And he goes,
It's literally that meme. He's like, "You ruined my life. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?"
yeah, exactly. Because
I don't
Shido
know
doesn't
who
even
you
fucking, doesn't. And they
Until
point
he
that
gets
out.
That ass beat.
And after they beat Shido, Shido in real life goes, I feel a change of heart. And tries to kill himself
I better die.
to stop
Yeah.
it.
Give me the pill! Give me the pill now!
And-
Shido has my respect for that.
He goes as far as to try and kill himself to completely shut it down. And as he does this, everything starts breaking down. And we get Ryuji's moment to shine. As he saves the entire goddamn party.
And you know what he gets in return?
He gets
The
beat
shit
the
kicked
fuck
out
up.
He
gets
gets in a huge explosion.
He looks like he dies, but he made it out in time. And the party kicks the shit out of him for it. For something that wasn't even his intention, because it looks like he faked his own death. But never mind, let's get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. But no, I know what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean.
Fucking, it got me for a moment. I like how this game
Oh, yeah.
tricks me
I shed
for
a
just
single
like
man
a
tear.
small. It's like he smiles, he gives the thumbs up, and then boom.
I was like, no, what?
So one of my main problems with this game is too many fake out deaths.
Yeah, they do it quite a bit.
I think there's like 5.
Joker, Ryuji,
You got
Mona,
Joker,
Mona.
Ryuji, Morgana, Akechi kind of, and Maruki.
Yeah.
Well, Joker, Ryuji, Mona, Akechi.
Oh yeah, they did Mona twice. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they go Mona. Yeah, and so, after that point, and they successfully changed Shido's cognition, but the world doesn't seem to have changed. Everyone's still like, "Yeah, Shido's the best." It's if
because
anything,
the general public only has the attention span of about 15 minutes.
yeah,
And if it isn't sensational news, it doesn't matter.
there's a solid
See, this is the
parallel to
song we
real
needed.
life right now.
This is the song we needed before. And
Yeah.
I did not miss the parallels it drew on real life.
It was
for-
fucking yeah.
So basically, even though the Phantom Thieves exposed Shido and all his crimes, what he was pushing forward first with his change was a greater impact on their cognition than all of his corruption. So
yeah,
nothing changed.
Yeah.
The public still supporting Shido.
cough,
It's
cough.
literally
And they were all, and his subordinates were also,
a correlation to Donald Trump. Like literally.
Yeah,
yeah, his subordinates were also trying to push, like, yeah, it was just, he was a little bit crazy that day.
Yeah. They
fucking
covered that shit up.
dumb.
And like literally even the dumbest excuse for that behavior, the public ran with it.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, Shido's great. And so it ends up, and they go further into Mementos to go see what the fuck is really going on. And
Oh,
that's,
one thing we forgot to mention is during that entire time where we're investigating Shido's palace, the public thinks that the leader of the Phantom Thieves was captured and then killed himself in prison.
yeah,
So we have this spectacular return with freaking Shido's calling card, which is probably my favorite calling
yeah,
card.
no,
because it has
the
a cutscene
best
with it.
calling card, period, because the cutscene accompanying it is just all hype. And
Oh,
you know what makes it worse is that you see that cutscene, you go into the fight with Shido, and then Ryuji's fake death. I was like,
Yeah.
because Ryuji is the one that hands it over to Joker and goes, "Take it away, leader." And
Yeah,
I was like,
that I thought that was foreshadowing the
yeah,
first time I saw it.
that's what I thought too, because I just,
Because I referenced back to that scene. I was like, "Oh snap, Ryuji's dead for real."
yeah, that's what I was going with, because that's what like normal writing has prepared me for is, oh, hey, look at this. This person's getting their moment. No, they're not.
Yeah, your right hand man ends up dying.
Yeah. And so, they go into Mementos, which we haven't brought up to this point, but this is the world's cognition. This is overall the people's collective thoughts, subconscious thoughts. And because Shido's collective nothingness changed, they went, all right, maybe we can fix this in Mementos. And they go as far deep into Mementos as they can, and they come across this just what they would define as a prison built underneath Mementos. And they find a lot of the former cognitive versions of the people that they stole their treasures of. And these people came down here, and they're basically relaxed. They're free of choice. And you can see as you go through Mementos that these trains have been taking these people down here the entire time. As you've been playing the game, you're supposed to go through Mementos to get stronger.
Yeah, Blanchard.
I did. Goodness. Fucking gracious. Right? So they keep going down and down and down, and these trains keep dropping off people here. And these collective people are willingly giving up their expression, their choice.
Free will.
And they find out why as they go down further. They meet this chalice, which at first is referenced as just a treasure.
It's a cup.
It is a cup. It's
It's a big old cup.
just giant ass cup at first.
Holy Grail.
We're
And
not there yet.
so they go and they try and find a way to steal it, and then the cup fights back, and they're like, "What? What's a cup? Why is the treasure doing this?"
And the people are mad at you for fighting the cup.
Yep. And the cup gets healed over and over again, and you're like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" And
It turns out that cup is a manifestation of the people's will to give up free will, to just basically go with the flow and leave any semblance of choice to another being, a god of control.
And as this god of control puts it, he just fucking whips you the hell out and puts you back in the middle of Shibuya. And then everybody starts falling apart as Mementos merges with reality. And as Mementos merges with reality, Phantom Thieves are no longer a part of the public's eye. Who are the Phantom
Because
Thieves?
they
And
don't exist in the
I've never
public
seen them before. Who are these people?
and so these people fall out of the cognition, and you come down into the Velvet Room.
Super fucking sad. So that used to be a bad end on P5, but it's not a bad end on P5R.
Watching it was another moment. Watching Mona go down, I was like, no.
She's like, "Is this my fault?" I was like, "No, buddy, it's not your fault. I'm
No.
sorry."
And
no.
he's in little cat form too. He's not in Mona form. He's in cat
Yeah.
form. I'm
Fucking
like,
cat disappearing.
yeah. I was like, no, Mona. You did everything you could for me. I believe in you. And we all fade off into oblivion, and we end up in the Velvet Room.
Oblivion looks a lot like the Velvet Room.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you wake up there, and you're looking around, and what's his name? Igor goes.
Igor.
Oh, well, Igor, quote unquote.
Igor question mark.
Yeah.
Igor question mark.
He says, "You done goofed."
Yeah. He goes, humans have disappointed me.
He goes, "You couldn't win this game that I rigged against you in your face."
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Why couldn't you beat me? I totally just set you up to lose. Come on now.
I gave you everything, you know. You
Yeah,
still
how
lost.
dare
What's going on?
What's going on, man? You couldn't win this unwinnable game.
And so at this point, it causes the twins to go, "Hey, could you form us back together? Do an execution real quick."
Well, they were fighting
in
him
a
first.
guillotine.
Yeah, you do have to fight them, though it wasn't much
yeah.
of a fight.
No, you
It
just
is.
sat there and took their
You
hits.
just sit there and get fucking knocked the fuck out for 3 turns.
Yeah.
And then they realize that they're not supposed to be beating you up.
We were ripped by malevolent.
And
A malevolent force.
yeah, Igor comes out, turns into Shadow Igor, and goes, "I am the god, blah." And then you go,
Y'all the Baal, the god of control.
and then you
I
go,
rigged this game.
and then you go.
I
"Well,
wanted to see if humanity was shit or not, and they ain't.
And so you get a moment that I kind of fast forward through, because the moment that I spent like 3 characters telling me, "Man, I'm not worth anything," and then Joker goes, "You're worth."
Oh,
things."
you're talking about, yeah.
So
you
I
talked to
literally,
everybody in their cell.
I literally went and pressed the start button the moment I realized what was fucking happening, over
Yeah.
and over and over
It does
again.
get kind of tedious because you have to do it 8 times.
Yeah, no, I did it 2 times and went, "We're good." And it seemed like Yusuke always has something to say, because his
So
shit's the
all
longest.
of them have something to say because those are all their important arcs. Like that's the conclusion of their arc on the hero's journey, where they fall down and be like, "Well, maybe I can't do this," and then you remind them why they can.
I understood why they could a long time ago. I didn't need him
No,
to reinforce it.
They
through-
lost their way like real human beings do.
They gave up.
They're video game characters to me. I knew they would get up.
How dare we try to bring characterization into my video game? How dare we make 3-dimensional real characters in my video game?
Maybe if I hadn't done this with a guide and thought of it as a procedure
Yeah.
that I had to step by step go through.
You suspended your own disbelief.
But see, I fell for Mona. Mona didn't have to give me this bullshit, even though
You're right. Mona
You
was
were
like,
right.
you don't have to talk to Mona. You're right.
Yeah, Mona's just there at the end.
Mona stepped up his game until Maruki, and I was kind of disappointed in him.
Yeah.
How
So it turns out Igor is an Igor.
yeah, well, I've heard his voice in other Persona games, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that's the dead giveaway for anyone who's ever played another Persona game. I was like, well, that doesn't sound like Igor.
yeah, I heard him speak in this one the first time,
Yeah.
and I was like,
He usually has like this weaselly sound. Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Yeah, he sounds
My
weird.
name is Igor.
yeah,
But in this one, it's like, welcome to the Velvet. Sound like Jiraiya from.
welcome
Naruto.
to the Velvet Room. I'm like, boy, shut the fuck up. You sound like you're gonna like give me a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, he's definitely something. He's gonna get you into something.
I will aid you on your rehabilitation.
And the two twins go, yeah, rehabilitation. That word bothers me. Hey, Joker, can you commit an execution?
Hey, can you come kill us real quick?
We gotta
This
become
must
one
be
again.
like
And then we get what's her name? Blah blah.
Lavenza.
Yeah,
Lavenza.
Lavenza.
Yeah. I love it because he was like, "We need you to make us one again." He was like, "How do I do that?" How you've been fusing other things in this game?
Yeah, he does. He's like, yeah. How do I do
right.
that? Yeah, nah, chop off our heads. Oh, dope. Okay.
And they even get
Come
the
this
little
way,
bodies
10-year-old.
in the fucking.
They get
the-
the body bag treatment.
it was
I'm
good
pretty
shit.
sure the body bag animation was made for two reasons: one, to save on animation budget when they're doing the execution cutscene, and two, so that we don't put 10-year-olds in a freaking guillotine.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Um, so they finally get done with getting their morale all boosted, and they head back out into Shibuya. That's now mixed with mementos, and
The Queefoff world.
yep. And all of the people that you have up to this point made your max confidants with are like, oh shit.
They get a cutscene because they can see through this fake world.
Yep. And then you rise through, and then you meet to this first platform. In this first platform, you fight one of the archangels. And then you get to the next platform, and then you fight another archangel. And then you get to the third platform, and it's another
Hey,
archangel.
guess what?
And
I'm trying to remember the
So,
order.
like,
I think
4
it was
times?
you fight Raphael, then Michael.
no,
then
Michael's the last
Gabriel.
one.
Oh yeah,
Gabriel.
Michael.
Gabriel is the third.
Second to last. I think is Raphael the first or is
You have a female that you have a guy
Uriel
that you fight
is
first.
third. It's so it's in descending order. Michael, Uriel, then Raphael, then
and then Gabriel.
yes. So Gabriel's first.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense because Michael's the head of the arc.
The Archangel, he who cast Satan down from on high.
And so, yeah, Michael has the fucking nerve to go, "Hey, you should stop and just let God do what he wants to do." And you're like,
I killed 3 archangels. You want to make it 4?
has the fucking nerve to go, "Yeah, bro, like listen. Don't do this."
You don't want to do this. It's gonna be a
Uriel,
long,
on the other
tedious
hand's
fight.
like, "Oh, I don't want to commit any violence," and then commits violence. And Raphael and Gabriel are just,
Raphael's like, let's fight.
yeah,
Gabriel's like, I'd rather you didn't.
yeah.
yeah. Nah, Gabriel was like, yeah, I really don't want to do this right now.
And so you get up to the top, and the chalice is now golden, as it was at the last time you saw it. And you beat the shit out of a chalice after having Monas go cut off the cords, because that's what I do.
You learn how to cut umbilical cords.
Basically, yeah, you just straight up cut it.
Mm-hmm. Who all did you guys send to cut it?
I
I
sent.
think I sent Queen.
I definitely sent Yusuke because that boy got the the sword. I was like, watch this.
Sword.
It's gonna be in style.
I like never have Yusuke on my party until he had the Kujaku, the give everybody
Yeah.
a Asian Akari buff.
Well, I grinded in my first playthrough, so I had that already. So he's already out front.
I didn't. Nah, I faced every challenge at whatever level I was at from speed running the palace on the first day.
Jesus Christ.
Hang on. Well, I had the handicap. I was playing on Merciless, so you just spam technicals and you're good.
Okay. So, you beat the chalice. The chalice goes, yeah, no, fuck that, and turns into God.
Phase 2. Yo, above.
He turns into God.
Then you fight God, and whenever we come back to that, whenever the next podcast is going to be, because we're not
Okay.
going into gameplay.
We're
Yeah.
not gonna make it. We've already been on for like 3 hours.
And this is
Yeah.
just the story. I should have figured it would have been like this. The other ones will be shorter, because this
We'll
is the
break them up
longest
more.
part of the fucking game.
Is the story, but we only have like a third left.
Fuck, we still got to go.
I would say, are you doing post
Well, yeah, we're
I
gonna.
don't think he's doing new game plus stuff because he hasn't. Played
No,
it.
no, I'm not going.
No, no,
in.
I'm talking about new ending.
Oh, with Maruki.
Maruki's
Yes,
ending.
yes, I have to go
Yeah.
over that.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
we're
we
just
can get there.
stopping at Yalda Bay off for today.
Yeah. So we get to there, and you fight God. God is a fun fight, in my opinion, because there's so
Yeah.
much mechanics going on.
In,
And
in vanilla P5, it's the best fight.
and
in my
so,
opinion.
after you beat God, God goes, "No, you can't win, anyways." And that's when we get a demon lord,
And you summon Satan.
Yeah.
and he
That's another-
comes down,
Yeah.
and everyone's like,
Morgana's literal words is, "Oh, I see. When a god's acting naughty, you summon a demon lord to put him in his place."
"Yep." And Joker
And you
pulls
shoot
out
him.
a fucking gun, and the demon
Fucking
lord
cannon.
pulls out just a massive ass rail gun, aims it directly at that god's forehead.
Which relatively is only like 2 inches away from his face.
Yeah.
And goes, "Be gone." And just
Oh.
boom. Just fucking boom. Fucking goes
Slow-mo.
right through his head. And the god has the nerve to speak again.
He's still speaking as
Yeah.
he's dying.
And he goes, "Oh no, is this what it's like to lose?" And
You
it's like,
foolish humans have chosen free will. How dare you?
and all of it ends, and we end up in the middle of Shibuya, and everyone believes that they've lost their persona abilities, and they're like, "Oh, it's winter time, blah blah blah," and
And then you get to go on a date with your waifu.
you do.
Wait,
you do.
wait,
But
before
before
that,
that, you get them.
Catchy.
Sai walks up and goes, "So, here's the thing.
You gotta turn yourself in, fam.
We gotta get rid of Shido."
You gotta testify, fam.
And he goes, "Well, yeah." And as you go to agree, Akechi walks the fuck up
Motherfucking Akechi shows up from the dead.
and goes, "I'll
I'll turn
testify."
myself in.
And everyone's like, "Oh fuck, Akechi's back! Oh no!"
Yeah, no. So that was my biggest wish from Vanilla P5. I was like, please give me an Akechi redemption arc. Let him live, please. And then they granted my wish and then simultaneously spat in my face.
Yeah, they did. They went, "So you want your wish?" And Maruki gave you your wish.
It was literally
Maruki did give you your wish.
It was literally fucking monkey's paw, the worst
then he
possible
just-
way my wish could be fulfilled.
And then he just like went and teabagged you repeatedly in the face
Yeah, he
afterwards.
He was like, "You like this wish?
Yeah.
You like this wish?
I can give
You
you
like it,
more
right?
wishes.
You like
yeah.
it, right?
Just gotta live with it, you know.
Yes, Maruki.
Just let it
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
You get to go on your date with whatever waifu you chose, which is Makoto. So he gets
Which
his
is
dick
Futaba.
wet twice. That's just what I take away from it, though.
I don't think you do on Christmas Eve. I think you definitely do on Valentine's Day because it says you spend a romantic evening with such and such.
I feel like anytime that you
It says
shows
he's-
heart,
Every time
Anytime
they
it
say
shows
it spent
hearts-
the night,
Yeah.
like
Yo,
every time
like-
with Makoto, it's they spent the night.
like freaking Kawakami's is the most suggestive. Like her Valentine's Day. I want y'all to go look at that video, and they definitely fucked.
Oh no! God damn it! I'm gonna have to look this up.
So have you guys turned down Haru? I mean, of course you guys turned down Haru.
Yeah,
But she's like
Haru's the
blatantly
most
disappointed.
like. Yeah, she actually
She's like
is
straight up like what?
because she's like, whenever you don't respond with the "Oh yeah, no, I like you too," she goes, "Oh, okay, I have to go now."
Yeah, she's like, get out of my house. I have to study.
Yeah.
What?
She's legitimately disappointed.
I was like, I kind of feel bad. You're the first person to give me that reaction.
No, Futaba does the same thing. If you turn
I've,
her down,
I have to say I've never turned her down.
she's like a child, bro. You gotta protect her.
Wait, who are we
Exactly.
talking about? I lost you guys
Futaba.
for like 2 minutes. Wait, no, she's not.
You turn Futaba down because you gotta protect her. She's like a sister.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
She ain't blood related.
Oh
I would
my
say you're not
god!
blood
No,
related.
no, no. She is like
This is Japan, my guy. They could have been your first cousin and it would have been okay.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was just for the jokes. That's gross.
Yeah, Sojiro was like, he said, I enjoy it if you didn't marry her, but if you do, it's oh well.
No, it wasn't even that. Like when you max out Sojiro's confidant, he's like, "Hey,
Yeah,
do
he
me one.
goes,
Don't go after Futaba," and I'll just have to sit there and look at him like, request denied."
Yeah, I was like, yeah, nah, it's happening, fam.
people disappoint me. Futaba gets so like she literally goes, "Oh, my heart flutters," blah blah blah, and you go, "Yeah, because we're teammates." And
Nah,
she goes,
I go, nah. That heart flutter, I felt it too. How could you turn that down? That innocent love.
"No,
She gets you matching headphones, bro.
Yeah, that's just dope.
no, no." She's like a sister, bro. Why?
She's a sister, bro.
She's like a sister, bro.
No.
Well, it is 2020.
No, we don't accept that even now.
No, the funniest TikTok I saw like all week is like this dude going in to like change the washer and dryer. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm stuck." And then you hear in the background, "Oh, step brother, I'm home." And he's
Oh,
Oh
fuck.
man.
Anyways, you spend the night with Makoto because that's the only right thing to do. Because the snow's falling.
Or
and she's like,
Kasumi.
Oh, I just remembered. Or Kasumi. So Kawakami's thing, right? At the end of her Valentine's Day date, like when you've told her you're gonna have to go home, it's like, all right, well tonight you're listening to my needs as a woman. And I was like, oh,
As a woman, really?
I don't know if it said as a woman part, but I know she says you're listening to my needs.
Oh boy, fuck. I'm gonna have to go look at these.
Or as Sojiro says, who boy?
The funniest thing is whenever they come over for Valentine's Day and Sojiro's like, yeah, well, Makoto comes over for Valentine's Day to the cafe. I don't know if that's like that for the rest of them, but
It's not.
So if you try to romance all of them, they all beat you up.
Yeah, they'll beat the shit out of you.
oh wow.
So there's an unused harem ending where they're all okay with it, and I'm kind of glad that didn't make it into the game.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah, that got pulled out.
that's some fan servicey bullshit
Yeah.
if there ever was
That's
one.
like way too much like wish fulfillment right there.
Screams at Persona 3.
Well, in Persona 3, they never find out you're like quadruple timing them.
That doesn't make it any better.
It makes it better because they don't accept being a female simp.
You're right. Okay, in that aspect, it's just the multitasking doesn't make it any better.
All right, so
Like I don't know how you have the time to like date all these girls because you only get so many date events.
Mhm.
Valentine's Day. What happens after Valentine's Day?
Oh, after Valentine's Day?
Well, that's close to the end of the
Yeah,
game.
that is.
So we actually did a huge time jump because
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
We skipped over
We skipped over
all of
Maruki.
Maruki's palace
Yeah, I was like, well, what happens after Valentine's Day?
because fuck it, we can do this in 8 minutes. So what happens is after you spend Christmas Eve Christmas with whoever, you fast forward a little bit, and at that point you guys are having a celebration on New Year's Eve. Mona comes back and he pulls
No, I think it's New Year's Day where he shows what
with
you have a
Sojiro.
rude awakening.
Yeah, so no, Mona comes back as the cat on New Year's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Sojiro,
Yeah.
Sojiro and the chicken. And Mona's like,
Yeah.
yes, my celebration, blah, blah, blah. And then he sees a person on TV that just displays mild interest in, just the smallest interest in. And Mona
At
goes,
this point, everyone thinks Morgana's dead because they thought he vanished with the cognitive world,
yes, but
but only
What's-
his cognitive self disappeared.
yeah, and Mona comes back as a cat. Mona, as a cat, sees the TV program on New Year's Day. No, New Year's Eve, because the next day is when things get funky.
Yeah.
Mona sees the human on the TV that's all chiseled and shit, and
Blue
Yeah.
hair, blue eyes.
yeah,
Blue hair,
On
blue
goes,
eyed dude.
that's no wonder he gets it thanks to his looks. And Mona goes, maybe if I looked like that. And I don't know how fucking
Epic foreshadowing.
Maruki went, yeah, I know what this cat's thinking.
I ignored that plot hole just for the pure comedic value.
I was
Shit
so
was great.
perturbed that Maruki couldn't fix the just to go over one of the fucking requests. The kid that wants to kill himself because he hit his sister.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't
that shit
fix that problem.
was-
No,
fucking mementos requests in the third semester
or
fucking
they're brutal.
so fucking well written and so brutal. There's like a hoarder. There's this depressed chick that's like neglecting her child.
Yep.
There's the womanizer. There's that one you were talking about. Oh my gosh, they're all so well written.
And like, how is he gonna know that the cat wants to be human, but he can't fix this major issue over here?
So the thing with it is his powers. He only had his powers the day that you guys took down Yal de Bayoff. He literally replaced.
That's when he
The Holy
connected to
Grail?
Memento.
Yeah.
Yeah, he awakened his persona on the day that we took down Yal de Bayoff. So that's when he started to get his powers, and they've
I
only
wouldn't
been
say that's
like,
when he awakened it.
outward since then.
I wouldn't
Because
say that's when he awakened it though. That's he awakened his persona way before then.
Yeah,
he just
well,
used it.
He
more.
couldn't fully
like,
awaken it until the
because you can't
metaverse.
awaken it, and you can only awaken your persona in the metaverse. And since the metaverse was fused with the real world, that's when he could actually awaken it. He had access. It would have been more like that half awakening that Haru had.
Yeah, that's what it was
But,
for the
so,
most part.
but he was able to use his power.
He
That's
was
what I'm
able
saying.
to use it like
Yeah.
in very small touches. Like
He was
Kasumi,
only able to use it
could
on
have
his
broken
girlfriend and
free.
Kasumi.
yeah. And it's if they had thought about it for like just a little bit,
And
they would have
so
been.
the Kasumi thing is actually the protagonist's fault.
Yeah,
Because everyone else calls her Sumire. The only cognition affected by her being called Kasumi is Sumire herself.
Yep.
But everybody else started to see her as Kasumi in the Phantom Thieves because the main character had that cognition of her being Kasumi because he picked up her ID that one time when they first met. And
yeah.
it said Kasumi.
And so, that brings us to Kasumi, who actually is just Sumire, her
Sumire.
fucking.
Little sister.
Yeah. And Maruki's whole idea, because up to this point, there have actually been bad people. We've
Oh
been
wait, you
stealing-
missed something important.
What?
Akechi's back.
No, we brought that up.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him say that he actually went and talked to him for the deal and all that.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
not
you,
for
you mean the
steal,
weirdness? Okay, so yeah, if we do
No,
back,
we
to-
haven't gotten to the third semester yet. We just got to the end where.
that's
Like,
literally what
oh,
Blanche's talking about
alive.
now.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
we
moving
are.
into
Yeah,
it.
we are now. Yeah,
so, yeah, because he wakes up and Mona's in bed with him.
Ugh.
Grown ass man in his bed.
Not Cat Mona,
Yeah.
Grown ass man in his bed.
sexy Mona.
And he goes, "Oh, what's wrong?" And he goes, "You just what the fuck, my guy?"
Yeah, you're like what?
You go
And
downstairs.
it's like this is normal.
Futaba has Wakaba back. Sojiro's acting like nothing's ever changed. Mona's always been there, just living there, because Sojiro would allow that. That totally doesn't make any sense.
I mean, he let one stray into his house.
Yeah. And then you go out to, and Kasume's like, "Hey, so, you remember that promise? Let's go start with the New Year's." And then you all get back together and meet randomly at the shrine. And with everyone meeting at the shrine randomly, you're like, this is weird, because everyone splits off to go do their own thing.
You know what's weird? They didn't say that they were going to the shrine. They didn't tell Joker anything.
No, because and you usually do shrine visits with your family and close friends. So, and it's weird that they all went to the same shrine.
Yeah,
That's-
I was just like, what's going on here? Y'all
And
ain't
they
gonna
call
tell me
it
y'all
out.
gonna come?
And the thing is, they call it out. It's strange that all 8 of us showed up at the same shrine on the same day on New Year's in Tokyo.
And so, after they arrive at the shrine, that's whenever it's confirmed, like, this fucking strange.
Oh, also, there's a different overworld theme, and everything is like the brightness has been turned up
Yeah.
by 3 degrees.
And you get this like crystalline stuff on the side panels where originally it was this black overlay and it'd come
Kind
over.
of like a lens.
Yeah. And so as you go back in the very next day, you're sitting there and everybody, Wakaba's there, Futaba's there, Mona's sitting there. They're all sitting there talking, and you're like, what
Makoto's dad is alive now. Haru's dad is alive now.
Yeah, and Futaba goes, not Futaba. They're all sitting there talking, and you're sitting at the counter just staring at them like they've grown a third head, and Akechi steps through the door. And that's whenever Akechi goes, so I need to talk to you. And we need to talk about this.
Everything's fucked up, and we're the only two
This
that know.
isn't real.
And
I should be dead.
the best part about this is it moves forward. I'm speeding this up even more. Is that they find out that there's still a palace in place through Kasame. Kasame, they all investigate into the palace. That's whenever all three of them find out that Kasame's actually Sumeri, but Sumeri got her sister killed on accident whenever she went.
Kasame's dead.
Yeah, Sumeri.
Her noodles was everywhere.
Yeah.
Got her killed by being an idiot and making a mistake, and she blames herself for it.
Which it was her fault.
It was her fault.
It definitely was.
But even with that, she's got to forgive herself. Is the whole
Yeah.
point?
She got to move past it, but she can't.
Yeah, and so she doesn't move past it. So she just creates a whole new persona.
No, she doesn't. She steals her sisters.
Yeah,
I would say she's a whole sister identity.
yeah. And so once
This takes SysCon to a whole new level.
this is brought up, they go back in to save her from Maruki because Maruki's like, nah, she stays here. She wishes to be Kasame. And you two...
Oh, the best part of all this is Akechi's your nav, and he's a fucking savage.
Yo, that
He's
is...
amazing.
He is... That is the best bit. Is like, yeah, you did pretty well, I guess, maybe. Fuck.
Joker, these enemies are weak to wind. Let's blow them away.
It's showtime. All that
Oh,
crazy
and
shit.
the showtime. Oh my god, the showtime.
Akechi, there was so much love poured into this little bit of the game, and it is a little bit of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
it was kind of messed up. You only play for that one palace, and that's it.
And so, after...
And you spend a week literally doing nothing but convincing your friends that their cognition is wrong, like a fucking ghost. I'm like, you know the truth.
Yeah, no, I
You
started...
know-
Your third persona now.
I fast forwarded through that shit too. Like after I listened to one and it was Makoto, and I was like, oh, that wasn't even interesting to a person
It's-
that actually cared about your character.
It's the Velvet Room revelation all over again.
Yeah, I literally sped past this again to get to the interesting stuff, which was Maruki and his philosophy and the fact that he's just trying to make people feel good.
He just want to make people happy. He's
Yeah.
not even a bad person. He's an antagonist, not a villain.
Like,
He's an
honestly,
antagonist.
I can't even argue with his whole new reality. He literally isn't hurting anyone.
They were having a hard time arguing with
It's
his
just-
reality.
It's the principle. It's the
Yeah.
same principle of Yaldabaoth. You took the choice away from these people to move past their pain
Yeah,
and just force your ideal of their paradise upon them.
and they go, yeah, no, this is better. Like the reality he gave us is better, but like we didn't get to choose.
this. We didn't work for this. It's hollow.
And
It's
so,
not real.
Yeah.
so him giving them to like, well, you wouldn't know it's hollow anyway. Is his point? It's like, I made it. You won't ever know the difference.
Yeah.
And so the fact that that is his idea is that
I like how we're on Maruki's theme now.
yeah, no, because I've been working to this palace. I fucking love his palace. The levels of his palace, the like layout of whenever you get into a certain portion and it asks you questions like, "Hey, you should what
The
would Maruki
psyche
think?"
vow.
I was say you're giving yourself a psyche vow.
Yeah,
Like that's what's happening right now. You're answering questions truthfully off of your ideas.
and
But
his-
it's a skewed eval because the correct answers are what Maruki thinks you should respond to that
Yeah.
situation. Like one of them was like the first one, I believe it was like, what do? You see your friend being hurt. Do you go call the police or you do go try to help him yourself? And Maruki's thing was like you don't add yourself to the variable of hurt because you yourself could get hurt,
Yeah.
even though like, I mean the other person can get hurt too just by you doing nothing.
Yeah, so it was all just Maruki's ideals. Your
Yeah.
psych eval was Maruki's psych eval. You go in there
Yeah.
and it's therapy, but it's therapy for the people that didn't think like Maruki. You go
Maruki,
up
yeah.
and then it's people being sent to paradise that Maruki is sending them to.
Yeah.
You go up to the very top and there is paradise. Where
A literal Garden of Eden.
Everybody's naked for some reason.
Because biblical reasons, Lou. Biblical reasons. We got Satan in here. We can't just like not do biblical
Bro, we got
reasons.
Satan, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, literally Jesus.
Literally, Jesus.
Yeah.
We
And
got Satan, Lucifer, all them guys.
Beelzebub, Asmodeus. No, Asmodeus. Asmodeus isn't in here.
and
But yeah.
right before you get to steal Maruki's treasure, because he sets it up after you go through the palace in a single run through like every other person. You wait your time doing your stuff,
Up the Twilight Corridor.
and that is.
It was fun at first, but then it devolved into frustrating.
I literally blocked
What
that
color is
shit
this?
out mentally.
Yeah. What
Oh
fucking color is this? All right. I need purple to walk over there, but I need purple off to get through the wall.
Yeah,
How
that's.
do I walk white?
How do I walk white?
I remember I was gonna pop up a guide for it, and I was just
Oh.
so encaptured by like the level. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
I was fine for the first level of it, but like the complicated part where you had to actually go to his treasure, that part had me struggling. I don't even know how. Like, I just fucking try shit randomly until something worked.
Yeah,
didn't-
same.
I
I was
didn't
like,
know
bro,
who was
I just
getting
wanted the
high.
will see, and I just messed up so bad.
I
I
just
had
was
no
like,
problem getting the will see. It was going up at whatever I did to get the will see fucked up the rest of the thing.
yeah,
So
that's the
I
same
could get
thing. I was
there.
just like, what happened?
Yeah, I have a strong feeling if I had just ignored the will see, I could have just went straight up those stairs.
Right.
Yeah. And so, my favorite part about going through Maruki's palace is that he has like the old VHS tapes of
Oh,
you just
yeah, that-
watching his
I
memories
love
play
that
back.
shit. It
Watching
was
his,
so nice.
Yeah.
his history, what happened to him, why he is the way he is.
Yeah, his motivations.
And then it's so good. And then you get to his boss fight, and he goes, "Do we really have to do this?" But wait, I have to back up because we get to his treasure room, and then you have to wait until the day before. And Maruki comes in, and he goes, and he sits there and talks with you at the cafe. And as he's sitting there talking with you, he goes, "So, Akechi, you can come out." And Akechi comes out, and he goes, "So, Akechi, I'm sure you've probably figured it out. But, Joker, like, you realize if you go through with this, everything goes back to the way it was." And then it shows that Akechi died. There was just no way about it. Akechi died.
He only exists in this version of reality with Maruki's influence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
And if
like,
you take down Maruki, Akechi dies again.
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, man. And Akechi goes, "Yeah, well, fuck that, man. We ain't changing our choices."
Akechi's
Right.
like,
I
"If
died for
you
a
can,
reason.
I will not live under the thumb of some other being's will. Kill me."
Right.
My favorite phrase, he embodies, like, everything I think about is the fucking, "I'll choose my justice."
The underlying theme of this whole game is rebellion, and nobody personifies it better than Akechi in the third semester.
Yeah, he's just like, man, fuck this. I may be dead, but, so
I
what?
go out on my own terms.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said he didn't want to live that way. He's like, this is not what I wanted.
And them stepping in and Akechi even fighting that last battle just to prove his point. And they take down the first wave of Maruki, which is just his persona, and you stop him.
That was probably the more fun part.
That was. And then you get to Adam Cadmon.
It's symbolic.
Yeah. So you go there and
You fight
Maruki
a
gets
giant Gundam.
yeah, you really do.
Looks like a Titan, actually. You fight a
Yeah,
Titan.
no, that actually, yeah, Titan does
Sentinel
fit it
from
better.
fucking 2000s X-Men
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, Sentinel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sentinels. Yeah, that's actually a more apt.
a
is what I
golden
thought.
Sentinel.
Yeah, a golden Sentinel.
And so
It's fucking master mode.
you get in there, you fight Maruki again, he gets absorbed into Adam Cadmon, then
And then you
Futaba.
get to the worst part of the boss fight.
Yeah, you just gotta heal. And
You
Yeah,
don't even
that-
have to do that. It's completely scripted, I found out. You will never go below 1 HP from the attacks in the third phase.
oh, I should
Yeah,
have
that
healed
that
at
whole
all.
part is just straight story, and I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel kind of
This
cheated.
could have been a
I was
cutscene.
trying my hardest to fucking heal and fight and heal and fight.
Yeah, I was fighting too, and then I figured, let me just not heal, see what happens.
Yeah.
And so
I did the same thing. I was fighting too. I was like, damn, no matter what, this dude's hitting hard. The only reason I'm not dying is because I'm guarding with everybody.
I wasn't even guarding. I just let it go to 1 HP and then heal us back
No,
up. Because
I
I
was
figured it
guarding.
was the persona skills that were keeping the confidant that was keeping them
Yeah.
alive.
Yo, dude. Final
I do
guard.
like how it ended though.
Fuck yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
I
they-
love that shit.
Going up there, fire the gun in, destroys his persona mask,
Checkmate.
goes down there, and we get the entire world's falling apart, the cognition, and Mona turns into a cat helicopter.
Mona turns into a helicopter.
Helicopter, monocopter.
Yeah.
Monocopter.
Oh,
you
God.
said that with such disdain. Monocopter.
And Mona's like, I did it! I did it! And then Maruki goes,
Yeah, nah, you didn't come here.
and reaches up and grabs the plane, the helicopter. And Joker goes,
I got this.
yeah, and
Protagonist
Assassin
mode
Creed
activate.
dives down onto there, and you have a MGS4 just, all right, put your hands up. And you just,
I got a Naruto versus Sasuke fight from that, like where they have no chakra
listen,
and they're just like fucking
MGS4 did
fighting.
it before Naruto did it.
Hey, that's
Long
fine, but
before
that's what I got from
Naruto
that.
did it.
That's what I got from that. Just say.
And that was cathartic for me too, was watching them just swing,
Yeah.
even though it's just
Because even though we didn't touch on it a lot, like the protagonist and Maruki have like a very intertwined plot thread going on throughout the entirety of this game. He literally helps Maruki perfect his
his
paper for
research.
the
Yes.
yeah for cognitive science.
So we'll
And-
touch on that whenever we come back
Yeah.
for the confidants.
Yeah,
Yeah, that pretty much covers it. I think after
More or less.
Maruki it's fist fight, Maruki just gives up and goes, well, man, whatever.
and
I tried.
Valentine's Day happens, and then
He reaches down. You say
falls off a fucking cliff.
they leave it very just up in the wind if he survives or not, and then you go to your final days, saying goodbye to everybody. Everybody has their own plans in life, and they're moving on, and
they all split off.
yeah,
Which is what I like, because better they didn't have that. Like, everybody's just like, oh, fuck, Joker's leaving, oh no. But now everybody has their own development outside the Phantom Thieves. Ryuji's getting his rehab and going to a school for his scholarship and working on a modeling career. Makoto and Haru are moving out to go search for colleges together.
mhm.
Futaba's going to school.
Yusuke's
Still
Yusuke.
doing his
Yusuke
art thing.
Yusuke actually didn't change much. He's like, I'm still gonna be here doing what I was always doing.
Because Yusuke didn't have much to change for.
Yeah, he didn't really have much to change.
Yeah,
for.
he had a
He
scholarship
had
for
his
art already.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had his
he's good.
transformation after Maruki. I mean, Madarame.
Yeah, his
Yeah, he was
character
good
arc
already.
ends and lives with Madarame because
Yeah,
he is talented. He knows what he can do in life. He already has a goal. He isn't like
made it through
Makoto,
the
who
right
had
squad.
like her life
no
scripted.
direction whatsoever
Yeah.
outside of what other people's expectations were of her.
Yeah, and he wasn't like Haru, who was just, yeah, I'll
There.
just do everything that my father tells me to do.
So actually, Haru has a pretty good
Yeah.
storyline actually to her confidant.
Yeah, so
It's just there's not enough time.
she becomes the lead of her company, and she's starting
Not
everything
even
up.
that. She uses her hobby to enhance her company. She starts
Mhm.
incorporating her super veggies into
Hey
the
guys, we got to
company.
do that another episode.
You're right.
Oh yeah.
That is a
Shit.
confidant thing. So as Futaba says throughout the course of Persona 5, and because this is Tree Talks, um, I think this is about time that we make like a tree and you know,
Get out of here.
It's time to go.
leave,
So
leave,
no,
leave.
she never says leave.
She
She
doesn't.
never
Yeah,
said
she
no.
doesn't.
It's a Back to the Future reference.
I know,
I was watching Back to the Future Part 2, and I was like, oh wait, that's why fucking Futaba says that shit.
but I find it
Look
so
at the
endearing.
look at the music that's playing right now. It's the fucking credits.
It's the fucking credit song. That's how we know we gotta wrap up right there. The credit song.
Yeah.
Is on.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you guys being on. I'll probably pull you back for the confidants and maybe
Yeah.
gameplay.
Definitely. I can talk Persona, as you can see. For
Yeah,
upwards
yeah.
of 3
We
hours.
a long ass time.
Yeah,
Um,
that sounds about like we got here at 7. It's 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You gotta split this video up into 2 parts.
Yeah, I am. All right. I appreciate you guys being on, and let's go for a part 2 at some point.
Yep.
See you guys.
All right,
Yeah.
see ya.